Sign up today.
Happy football season. At the Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant-Denny or Jordan-Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing. Ryan Brown here for the Next Round. Join me and CBS sports analyst Brandon Marcello for the Middle Eight each Monday at 8 a.m. as we look back at the weekend of college football from the SEC to the top 25 of the college football playoff. It's the Middle Eight, presented by MyBookie.ag, code Next Round. From the creators of the Next Round comes 2 new sites, CoverCrimson.com and TheBarnAuburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on the Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. CoverCrimson.com or TheBarnAuburn.com. Sign up today.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
From the creators of the Next Round comes 2 new sites, CoverCrimson.com and TheBarnAuburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on the Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. CoverCrimson.com or TheBarnAuburn.com. Sign up today.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1? Find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2? Stream it now. Miss Hour 3? Download it for later. Miss Hour 4? Well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
Take the Next Round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store. Jim Dunaway. Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, live show now as we go on a Wednesday basketball night in Birmingham. It feels like a must-win for Alabama already.
It's November.
I'll tell you why coming up later in the show when we finally get to that.
On the bubble.
Obviously, we got to start with the college football playoff rankings. Clay Travis next segment rescheduled today so that we can watch him cry those Tennessee orange tears after the rankings last night. Not that I agree with the rankings, and also. Jon Sumrall, one of the great young coaches at age 42 of now number 20 Tulane, will join the show at 10:30 Central Time. So many things that don't make sense in the college football playoff rankings, but you got to rank them somehow. One of the craziest may be that Texas, because of the helmet as you look at it, number 2 overall seed, number 3 ranking. Man, they've got 0 wins.
I know.
0.
Their best wins are 6-4 Vandy and 7-3 Colorado State.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Better than Michigan. It's Colorado State.
Yeah, I mean, it's when it's all said and done, it's probably going to be a 6-6 Vanderbilt team is going to be their best win. And that's why that game in College Station is so dangerous. Everybody talks about Indiana's schedule, and they haven't played anybody. Indiana's beaten everyone they've played. If Texas was to take on a second loss, the brand might save them. The conference might save them. But they wouldn't necessarily be deserving to get in.
I think of all the potential SEC 2-loss teams, Texas is the most troublesome.
Now Texas A&M could send two loss teams out if they went out. But I don't think Tennessee's dead yet. Tennessee's the bubble team. They're the team on the outside looking in. Tennessee has the win over Alabama, the loss on the road at Georgia, that loss to Arkansas. Just your initial thought on the rankings. Let me ask you this.
Okay.
Let me just start with this one. I'll throw one out and then we can bounce around however you want. Like, Texas is up there at number 3 with 1 loss. But Georgia, who beat them in Austin, is 7 spots behind Texas with the nation's toughest schedule, some say.
Yeah, but 2 losses. I mean, they're valuing that right column right now an awful lot.
But
obviously.
They are not really respecting Georgia. You saw it last week. I mean, Georgia, and look, this will play itself out. We've all talked about that. But they had Georgia in a situation where they wouldn't have been in the college football playoff last week.
Yeah, at least they stuck back in the bracket. Kirby got it back in the bracket.
I think it is becoming a national narrative that people are really, really pissed off about the SEC. Like I heard, I think it was Chris Canty this morning on ESPN radio talking about BYU would beat Tennessee.
Oh, my God.
Oh, did he really say
it's
that?
hard it would be hard to beat Tennessee if BYU couldn't score, right?
Yeah, which Tennessee keeps a lot of people from scoring.
I think it was Canty. I was doing a drive-by on one of these radio shows, and it was 3 voices. One was a chick, and I think it was him.
So you feel like Tennessee gets back in?
I said they've got a chance to get back in
gotcha.
because of where Texas is. But I like Tennessee's chances maybe to sneak back in if Auburn gets A&M this weekend.
Again, rivalry weekend. You don't just roll up Nashville and knock off Vanderbilt.
Whoa. Why Auburn A&M? Explain that to me.
If Auburn beats A&M and A&M beats Texas, then that helps Tennessee if Tennessee wins out. And then also with Tennessee, I don't want anybody to start talking about this or not, but if Tennessee wins out, Tennessee has beaten Alabama and also beaten a team that beat Alabama.
Yeah, but they lost to a team Alabama beat. I mean, I think Tennessee's in serious trouble. I disagree with you.
Well, Tennessee's going to be like a 6-7 point favorite on the road in Nashville. Like I think that game's almost a coin flip.
But even if Tennessee wins the rest of their games, I think they have to be massive Oklahoma and Auburn fans, massive USC fans, massive Minnesota fans against
they need
Penn
all
State.
That to happen?
No, they need one of those.
Okay,
I think they need one of those. And then see what the committee does with Indiana when they lose to Ohio State. That's going to be the most telling thing for Tennessee is not this ranking, but next Tuesday's ranking, which takes into account Indiana having lost to Ohio State, if that happens.
I do think next week's ranking is going to be the most important outside of the final ranking.
Yeah. You'll get the full picture of what the committee thinks of Indiana next week if they lose to Ohio State. Now, if they beat Ohio State, then it becomes really interesting what they do with Ohio State.
Let's look to the rankings and everything brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. They make us see everything clearly. LT.
Yeah, 205-969-8100. That is the number that I called 21 years ago. I had the 2200 vision. I was legally blind without the aid of contacts. After the procedure, 2015 vision, better than 2020. Still, make the phone call that I made. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. Do you or a family member need to make your benefit selections at work now? Do you know, did you know your FSA or flex spinning can be used to help you see clearly without the hassle of glasses or contacts? LASIK at Michelson Laser Vision might be a good choice for you. Book that free LASIK consultation with Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson today, 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
Hey, y'all won't want me to go because I'm the old guy, but all you youngsters up here, y'all want to take LT's vision out to drink? It's 21 years old now. It's legally old enough to drink now.
Go hit the bar.
Yeah, that's when you know you've gotten old, when your eyes have been repaired for 21 years.
My eyes can drink.
Do y'all remember this craze? It happened in the 80s when I was in college, that people would pour vodka in their eye.
Yeah,
in their
I remember
eye.
that.
Do you remember that story?
People still do that.
Do they really?
Yep.
Well,
that's the most asinine thing
well,
ever.
people use
it
syringes to put alcohol in their body. People put it in their ass. I mean,
Have you ever
that was a thing that was, I think a couple people died from that, didn't they?
Yeah.
I would think so. That has a faster absorption rate.
In your eye or in your rectum?
In your butt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, have some patience.
Yeah, really. I mean, it's simple,
I thought
baby.
everybody in the 80s had patience. They're dropping it in their eyes.
Enjoy the ride, man.
Yeah.
Well, that was the 80s, man. It was the economy was booming. Everyone was snorting coke and putting vodka in their eyeballs.
That was a fun decade, man.
I like the 90s a lot more. Slowed down a little bit, grunged it up a bit. Let my hair flow a little bit back then. All right, here we go. Here are the rankings. Oregon is 1, Ohio State is 2, Texas 3, Penn State 4, Indiana 5, Notre Dame, Alabama, Miami, Ole Miss, Georgia, Tennessee, Boise State, SMU, BYU, A&M, Colorado. Those are your top 16. Those are the ones that matter the most. Just my first glance, I'm a little surprised Colorado didn't jump up a little bit more. I'm surprised BYU's 14 and Colorado's not 14. I thought that would be flipped. I thought Colorado would sneak ahead of A&M. They did not.
Yeah, it's interesting what they're doing with Colorado. So, I mean, if they win,
Both those teams are going to lose this week.
Colorado
And A&M.
and A&M.
Yeah.
So you like Kansas and Auburn to pull the upsets?
And it's not even, they
they're
are upsets.
point spread
but
upsets, but they're not, earth-shattering upsets. It's going to feel a little more earth-shattering when Kansas beats Colorado because I think a lot of people have not paid attention to Kansas' improved play. Maybe you have after they beat BYU last week, but this is a team that's been getting better and better and better.
Wrecking the Big 12's chance of getting 2 wins.
Boy, have they.
Yeah.
Have they ever. But then there's Arizona State back there that would climb up.
Yeah. Boise State is the interesting one last night, Brown, because as we sit right now, they got the bye that everyone's been talking about.
So I don't think it holds, though, Jim, because either Miami beats SMU and wins the ACC, assuming Miami beats Syracuse and gets there, or SMU beats Miami and they'll jump them over Boise. Now, I think they could potentially get a bye in front of the Big 12, I guess, right?
Right.
Yeah, so that would be the one. And that some of that depends on what Lance is just talking about. Like if Colorado gets beat, Arizona State ends up winning the Big 12.
Well,
that is where the bye is now. They're ahead of the Big 12.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
they're not ahead
and
of the ACC.
BYU, let's say they lose to Arizona State this week. Colorado loses to Kansas. Then your highest ranked team is going to be Arizona State, which is 21 now. How high can they jump?
I don't think they could jump over Boise. Yeah. So they're So let me back that up, Terry, as quick as I can. There, they're probably going to end up getting the bye just because the Big 12 is going to end up cannibalizing itself. It seems.
What's really fascinating, if Army was to shock Notre Dame, there would be a chance that there's a possibility we could sneak in 2 Group of 5 teams. And maybe even instead of Army, if Army beat Notre Dame, could help Tulane down the road with the AAC championship. We'll talk to their coach coming up in a moment. But the Big 12 is not guaranteed having a spot in the playoffs.
Yeah, I did not realize this was
Yeah, because what do they have to be ranked?
in the top 12.
Top 5 conference champions.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's the wild card. If the American Army, if they beat Notre Dame and goes on to win it all, or Tulane sneaks ahead of whoever their Big 12 champions, I don't think it'll happen because the Power 4 runs the things, but I mean, it doesn't necessarily guarantee the Big 12's in there. It could be the American and the Mountain West ahead of the Big 12.
Yeah.
I mean, the Army Notre Dame game does play into this.
Yeah.
Because, if Army did beat Notre Dame and was undefeated, whether they beat Tulane or Tulane beat them, I mean, that's going to be a red-hot team coming out of the AAC. And then on the other side, if Boise wins out, like those two, I think whoever it was, Army or Tulane and Boise, are probably better than anything the Big 12's got.
Yeah.
Or at least you could make the argument.
You could make the argument,
I mean, right now, if Colorado played Tulane neutral site,
it's a fantastic game.
it is. I lean Tulane, but
I do too, but-
you've got an elite quarterback in Shedeur. That might be the difference.
Yeah, Tulane's defense playing really, really well. I mean, that's just a lot of this ranking, though. If so-and-so played so-and-so on a neutral site, like I can do that almost the entire top 12.
But when they laid that out,
Almost.
initially, when it was the top 5 highest ranked conference champions, at that point, we all thought, well,
I ignored that.
yeah, it's going to be the 4 Power 5 and a group of 5 team.
Yeah. You know when it crystallized with me was when Clapp brought it up Monday.
Yeah.
And I just had never really gone back and thought about that they're not promised a spot in this thing. The
Yeah.
Big 12 could play their way out of this whole shooting match. And the way the Big 12 has gone this year, that almost is your betting favorite.
It really is. It has been by far the most unpredictable conference. Like, I'd love to go back, and I'm sure we can do this, and look at the Big 12 media days where they had all their teams coming out.
So Utah was picked to win it.
Yeah. Oklahoma State was picked high.
Oklahoma State was high. Kansas was a top 4 team.
Colorado was 14th, I think.
Was Arizona at the bottom?
no.
Arizona State.
Arizona State was at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right there with Colorado.
Right there with Colorado, and that could be your championship game.
Yeah.
It-
So that would be fitting for the Big 12.
Literally is upside down.
Yeah, they have flipped it, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I wouldn't mind seeing them out.
I mean, I think, I don't know.
I mean, Kansas over Colorado. Arizona State beats BYU.
Yep.
Arizona beats Arizona State.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, I mean,
Oh,
it's
they're
hard,
out.
You got a complete mess.
hard to fight back in at that point.
Nope, you got a complete mess at that point.
Who does Colorado close with? I think Oak State, maybe?
It is
It
Oak
is
State at
Oklahoma State.
home. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, leave it to Gundy to screw up the whole season and then cap it off by screwing up the whole Big 12. I mean, that would be so Gundy right there.
Yeah, craziness. All right, college football playoff rankings out last night. A little bit more of that discussion, and then we'll get to Clay Travis coming up in our next segment. There's always 1,000 things after you see the rankings, and we go rapid fire, machine gun, almost rattling off thoughts. We want your thoughts in the mybookie.ag chat room. The show being brought to you by our friends at Inverness Country Club. Great folks over there, and they're one of our proud sponsors.
Yeah, absolutely. And Inverness Country Club, they have got memberships that absolutely fit everyone, from the social to the golf, newly expanded driving range. Childcare is also a big plus. Maybe you work from home. What about working from the club while they watch your kid? Whatever your interests are, you can find it at Inverness. Maybe you relocated or retired. Inverness is a great place to network. Take a tour of this unbelievable club today. Call Erin. Tell her the next round sent you. 205-991-8608. That's 205-991-8608, or online at iccalabama.com.
Urology Centers, Alabama.com as well. 35 urologists, 16 locations all over Alabama. Guys, so important to stay on top of your health for early detection when it comes to your prostate health, kidney stones, everything in between. Vasectomies, they take care of everything when it comes to your urological needs. And they've got a location near you. Check them out, urologycentersalabama.com, or call 205-930-0920, 930-0920, urologycenteralabama.com. Brownie?
Bama Fan 1972 reminds us in the mybookie.ag chat room that if you will hearken back to the last show we did from the floor of Bama, we literally laughed EG off this show for one of her guarantees.
Which was 2 group of 5 teams in.
2 group of 5
Oh, my
teams in the
gosh.
playoffs.
Yeah.
We literally laughed.
Yeah.
EG, be serious about this.
Put the Georgia Southern goggles down, girl.
I mean, we laughed
What's in
at
that cup
EG.
over there?
Laughed at EG.
Oh, my gosh. I didn't even think about that.
And look how close we are. I just
Look
laid
at-
out 3 upsets.
It's really not that
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
And it happens.
We laughed her off. We'll never hear the end of this.
Well, I mean, I think it's close enough now that we never hear the end of it.
Probably not. Guys, I told you so.
Yeah, close enough now we never hear the end of it. Way to go, EG.
I
there.
know.
So Alabama, let's address the elephant in the room. Alabama jumps up to number 7.
It's an impressive win over Mercer, Jim.
Yeah, dominating win over Mercer. They're number 7. It has Danny Cannell's head exploding. It has Tennessee fans' head exploding. We beat them.
Same record. We beat them, but they got the same record.
Yeah, they lost to Georgia. We lost to Georgia. Alabama
beat Georgia.
Yeah. We lost to Georgia.
But we got the same record. We beat them head to head.
Yeah,
I mean, you got to sort those out.
You're always going to be able to find examples of
this late in the year.
Yeah. There's nothing you know about it. I mean, who do you guys think is the better team?
Alabama or Tennessee?
Yeah.
Alabama. Right now, I mean, the day they played, Tennessee won the football game.
And I give Tennessee that. That was the absolute worst you will ever see Jalen Milroe play.
Probably. It was pretty bad. And Tennessee had a lot to do with that. They got a good defense.
Yeah, but how much of that was Tennessee?
Yeah.
How much of it was the atmosphere? And how much of it was Jalen Milroe either being hurt or trying to play the position differently than maybe he needs to play it?
Yeah.
You know, normally, if we had a 12-team playoff in any other year, if you look at what is your top 5 right now, you could pretty much book all those 5 teams.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't feel great about all of them. If Indiana gets walked off the field this week, Penn State loses to Minnesota.
No, you're right.
Texas loses to Texas A&M.
No, they're in trouble. But I think what they did with Alabama last night,
would still sneak into a 14 playoff if all that stuff
I
started
know.
happening.
I think what they did with Alabama last night, Jim, was make the obvious adjustment. I think at some point the committee said, hey Earl, pull up the SEC tiebreakers. Who's got a shot at the SEC championship game to play Texas?
That's going to be Alabama.
Oh, crap.
We got them too low.
You know we can't drop them out if they lose that conference championship game, don't you, Earl?
Nope. Greg will be pissed off.
Greg will be pissed off. Bump them up. Who'd they beat this weekend?
Mercer.
Oh, it's going to be a tough
We should have done it last
We
week.
should have done it last week when they beat LSU. What were we thinking? But don't you think that's what happened? Is they've got Alabama in position now. If they are the ones if they don't make the conference championship game, it's because they've lost.
Yeah.
So none of this matters.
Right.
Brown, my friend Philip tells me he hates when we on the show said, I said this or I told you
Did
this.
Philip
back in
say
the day.
this? Yeah.
Philip said. Philip said that it's annoying when we all take credit. We should be saying we instead of I.
Okay. All right. We said what?
I usually do say we.
Yeah, we said what?
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we said way back when the college football playoffs started, pay attention to those last 4 spots because that's where the roux is in your gumbo.
Yes.
That's where Monopoly is played down there. Last night, instantly, when it popped out, Illinois was 25. Going to need that Illinois team to be ranked to prop up some Big Ten stuff up top.
Yep.
Oh, and who was 23? Oh, Missouri was 23.
They lost.
I mean, my God. When you look at Missouri, you think one of the top 23 best teams in the country, right?
They lost and didn't move.
No, whose strength of schedule does that help?
Alabama.
It does help Alabama. Yeah, those are the last 4 spots. That's where the ingredients of the old college football gumbo is.
That's where the magic happens.
We've said that since 2014. It was really, really good.
You were the first person I heard say it. I'll go ahead. I know Philip doesn't
we-
like it,
we
but I'll
said
give you
it.
credit.
We said it. Yeah.
So you're saying Alabama is helped by the fact, obviously, they've got a win over number 23, a win over number 18.
I mean, Missouri can't fall out of this thing.
A win over
they
number
keep
10.
losing. They can't fall
I
out.
know.
They're like Missouri is like the little kid we take bowling and we put up those rails. Missouri can't throw a gutter ball now.
Who they've got? I know they've got Arkansas. Who they got this week?
They got Mississippi State this week.
Yeah,
But that's in Starkville.
Come on,
whatever
Mississippi
that's
State.
worth.
Don't ruin the Alabama strength of schedule.
I
Let
know.
Missouri
That
stay
is
in the
a
rankings.
forgotten program, by the way.
State?
Yes.
I've barely watched them this year.
I think it is is it fair to say, least talked about SEC team this year?
Yep. I mean, how much have you watched State play?
Oof, not a lot.
Not a lot.
Bits and pieces of the Texas
Georgia game.
Yeah. Oh, boy. That Texas game got out of hand in a hurry.
Bits and pieces of that game.
Yeah, I watched them a little bit against Georgia, and they had a home game I watched a little bit of. I'll tell you, the most I watched of them was that season opener at Arizona State, which, by the way, they were in to the very end.
Yep.
Blake Shapen was still playing pretty well for them then.
Ended up being pretty good.
But, I mean, this was a move for Alabama, right, to position them to, if they lose the SEC championship game, not fall out of this thing. Because if they lose to, say, 3-seed Texas, I mean, how do you drop Alabama that much for losing to number 3? It's the team you said is the third best team in the country. Now, the question becomes, Jim, assume Alabama wins the remainder of their games.
Yeah, that's what's got to happen first. You got to beat Oklahoma, got to beat Auburn.
All right, let's assume that. Let's assume what you guys have already talked about here today is that Texas A&M beats Texas. Where is Alabama going into that championship game ranked?
Oof.
Indiana or Ohio State will have lost in front of them.
Top 5.
I mean, Alabama is going to be top 4 maybe going into that conference championship game. If A&M beats Texas, there's almost no path out of this thing for Alabama if they win the rest of theirs.
I know Ward Manuel's asked about Lane Kiffin's comments, and he said we're going to evaluate through the championship games. If somebody was to get completely run off the field in that SEC championship game and they take on 3 losses, they could be out.
Almost never happens in the SEC championship game, almost being a key word in that sentence. There have been some instances. And I think it's far less likely now that you've got the obvious 2 best teams. You don't have one weaker division sending a weak team. You've got the 2 best teams playing. So I think it's very unlikely you'll get that, but it could happen. You never know. I mean, a lot of people call the Georgia-Texas outcome a beatdown. Do you guys qualify that as a beatdown?
Yeah. In Austin, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, then if you call that a beatdown, you could see an outcome like that.
Yeah. So do you think Texas can fall out?
All the way out.
Yeah.
If they lose to A&M, I think they could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because their problem is if they lose to A&M, then they probably – I don't think there's a path for them in Atlanta because of their strength of schedule. And –
yeah, for those wondering if Auburn beat A&M beat Texas, it's likely Georgia.
Georgia and Alabama again. Yeah. Stop me if you've heard that before.
Yeah.
So they don't get another chance to have a win they could hang their hat on. I think they'd be in real trouble.
That's their problem. From Chris Marler, our friend who you see on covercrimson.com. Texas is 2 wins, best 2 wins record-wise, 7-3 Colorado State, 6-4 Vandy. 6 of Texas's 8 SEC games this year are against teams in the bottom 7 of the SEC standings. So that schedule that we said Oklahoma's is really tough from the SEC, Texas is really easy.
It played out.
Could come back to bite them if they end up losing another game to Texas A&M. That would mean losses to Georgia and Texas A&M, and then their 6 wins would be all against teams in the bottom 7 of the SEC, according to Chris Marler.
I will say, if everything holds right now and they're at number 3 when they lose to A&M, that is a long way to drop a team. But
it is, and especially a brand.
I know, but it's hard to justify not doing it. I say that having said BYU took on their first loss and dropped 8 spots. Now, I know it was Kansas that beat them.
Yeah.
But there
not
is
a brand, not
a brand, but there is precedent to drop a team that much. I mean, that was an 8-spot drop for BYU just on their first loss.
I got two amazing college football facts from a couple of folks this morning that I'll get to before we get to Clay and back to the playoffs. But one more thing from Chris Marler that may help Texas should they lose to A&M, that keeps them ahead of Tennessee. Indiana, we've bashed their schedule. According again to Chris Marler, Indiana and Tennessee have the 2 worst opponents' win percentage of the entire Power 4. Tennessee's opponents rank 117th nationally with a 420 win percentage, and Indiana ranks 125th with a 391 win percentage. So when you put all the teams that Tennessee and Indiana's played together, there's not a lot of difference in the Vols' schedule, hurt by NC State.
Yep.
Helped by Alabama.
Well, here's the difference.
That's the big difference is they beat Alabama.
But the bigger difference to me is Tennessee got lost.
They do. No,
and Indiana has won by an average of 30 points per game.
They have now.
But I wasn't talking about Tennessee compared to Indiana. I was talking about Tennessee compared to Texas's weak schedule. Should it come down to deciding between those 2 teams, Tennessee doesn't have a lot to hang their hat on either, except for the win over Alabama. That would be maybe the difference in Tennessee being in and Texas being out if you get down to that discussion.
Yeah. I mean, it's a long way to drop Texas. If they go into Atlanta they're going to be safe. But if they lose to A&M at number 3, that is a long way to drop them. But, I mean, I'll say it. You just dropped BYU 8, so they've obviously been willing to make large adjustments based on one singular outcome.
Our friends at Hemphill bring you the lock every day, lanceslock.com. We had a little easy winner last night with the Boston Celtics. They beat Cleveland like everyone saw
Did
coming.
not cover.
They didn't cover?
No.
It was a blowout there for a second.
It's NBA for you.
Everybody goes on a run, Jimmy.
Oh, when I turned it off, it was cruising.
No, won the game by 3, laying 5.5. So, not a winner. We split last night at lanceslog.com, but jump on board. More winners coming for you. We've got college football up tonight. We've got college basketball. We've got the NBA, all 3 at lanceslog.com. Always brought to you by our friends at Hemphill Services, 205-229-2090. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Tell them the next round sent you. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
That's what you always say about basketball, right? When you bet basketball, you got to have, what is it?
Iron Constitution.
Yeah, man. It's It's tough.
The Celtics they dominated that game.
Well, they did dominate the game, but Cleveland showed why they opened the season 15-0. Cleveland's going to be a tough out.
Bruce Pearl's daddy bringing up something I brought up to LT. His Lakers, Dalton Connect, has been balling lately. 16 of 26 from three-point last 3 games. Last night, he drops 37.
Yeah, it's hard for me, man. It's really a sad state because of the combination of LeBron and Bronny. It's hard for me to pull for that team. And I was telling Dunaway, you know what Bronny James is shooting right now?
Oh, I know. I know he's not even playing road games for that G League team, right?
16%.
That ain't good. That ain't good. I mean,
it's just a joke.
Yeah, I mean,
but Dalton Connect, that guy was a late.
Did you like that pick or not? I can't remember.
Yes,
okay,
I loved
it.
Yeah. And that's why it was kind of
a steal, didn't we?
Yeah, but it was. We did. It was
we did.
It was a bittersweet night though, because you had such what I believed and we believed was a great selection to Connect in the first round, and then you completely wasted on Bronny.
Yeah, you do. But they got what they wanted out of it. He and LeBron got some time together, and that played out. And I guess you're just playing out a contract with him. Is that what they're doing with Bronny?
I guess.
I mean, he's still in the G League, right?
No, he's
back up.
Yeah, he's back and forth. I mean,
yeah, when he goes to the G League, I've seen he does not play road games. Like they only let him play home games. I don't know what they're doing there. I guess I don't know. I guess it's part of his agreement with LeBron.
Okay, 2 crazy football facts that I have for you that'll blow your mind here. One of them from DraftKings themselves. They tweeted this out last night. Despite Kent State being 0-11, they've outscored Florida State 143 to 133 this year. Kent State considered to be the worst football team in America. 0-11, and they've outscored Florida State 143 to 133. That's not the craziest thing that I saw today. Brian Davis, who writes for the Dallas Morning News, Dallas News, whatever they're called now, out there in Big D, points this fact out. Kentucky plays in Austin against Texas this year. This will be the farthest west game Kentucky football has ever played. Austin, Texas
That's
will be the furthest west Kentucky football has ever played.
You don't even get to the Rockies.
Ever.
Well, I mean, obviously they've never been to a Rose Bowl or anything like that. I just don't see – that is crazy.
That from Brian Davis of the Dallas Morning News.
The furthest west Kentucky's ever been is Austin,
Hard to
Texas.
believe.
Yeah.
Austin, Texas, farthest west they've ever played a football game.
Yeah, there was this –
Now, I'm sure there's some lines being drawn up through there.
Yeah.
We have it on a globe.
Lawrence, Kansas.
Yeah.
There was this stat for a long time about Florida not playing a non-conference game outside of the Eastern time zone or something like that. Because they always play Florida State every year, or maybe it was out of the state of Florida. I can't remember. Florida finally broke that, but it was this long-running stat about how Florida never leaves to play non-conference games. But that one is crazy because you're talking about 125 years of football. And they've never been past Austin, Texas to play a game.
Now, I saw that this morning, so I have not fact-checked that out, but the guy works for a major publication in a red state, so I've got to trust it. It's Dallas News right there, Brian Davis.
Wouldn't you just, for your fans, schedule the home and home with Cal?
Cal or Colorado or UCLA, USC, something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Longitude. I never could say that word. Yeah, I never could say that word. See you, Buff. Jimmy Maps. It's not me, Grayson. I'm not doing the maps here. That's all Brian Davis of the Dallas News. When we come back, we'll talk to Clay Travis. Tennessee on the outside, looking in, despite the rivalry win over Alabama. The man that wears Tennessee orange, no matter who is on the other side of the country songs, it's Clay Travis. He's coming up on the other side. The show brought to you by our friends at CPAP Plus.
CPAP Plus, get in and see the O'Neill brothers. They are CPAP users themselves, so they're going to know exactly what you're looking for. With hundreds of 5-star Google reviews, trust CPAP Plus for all of your CPAP needs. CPAP Plus, where every night matters. Remember, mention the next round, $20 credit towards the purchase of a new mask system, CPAP cleaner, even a travel CPAP machine. Stop by today, CPAP Plus, where you're going to find the best service and equipment, all in stock, ready for you. Google CPAP Plus or just stop into one of those 3 convenient locations, Pelham, Highway 280 in Charlesville. Again, tell them the next round sent you.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Hey, you. It's the holidays. Give cheer a lift. And at New Balance Birmingham, we got the gift. That holiday vibe? Find it inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Thanksgiving is here, and let the New York Butcher Shop be the place to get all of your holiday meal items. Their premium turkeys are fresh, free-range, and hormone-free. The New York Butcher Shop also has a wide selection of chef-prepared side items to help save you time in the kitchen. Pick up a bottle of wine, and your meal will be complete. Turkeys are selling fast, so place your order today. 2 locations to serve you, in Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service. Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the next round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the next round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Happy football season. At the next round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McCorder, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to Fall Saturdays.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, we believe the best holiday fun happens out there, on the driveway with a new basketball hoop, out back around the fire pit, or up in the deer stand. No matter your fun, we've got it. The right stuff at the right price. Academy, have fun out there.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
You can't wait for college football talk every Monday, so we don't make you wait. Ryan Brown here for the next round. You can catch ESPN's Tom Luganbill with Jim Dunaway on Monday Morning Live at 7 a.m. I'm with Brandon Marcello on the Middle 8 at 8 after the next round. Hear from Alabama coach Kalen DeBoer and Auburn coach Hugh Freeze. After the coaches talk, Fox Sports analyst Brock Huard joins Lance Taylor for Unlocked at 1 o'clock. All college football, all day Monday, anywhere you get the next round.
Our friends Way to Wellness, personalized plan that works for you. No cookie cutter plan. Everything is different for each one of you. And they've got the medical weight loss with the injections right now that are popular with so many people. They got the best of the best with that, with the supervision of a board-certified medical professional right there at Way to Wellness. Leslie and her board-certified team. Also a meal replacement, not just weight loss. They'll help you with blood pressure, cholesterol numbers, no contract, no sign-up fees, and that first consultation is absolutely free. It's grown so much. They've got some career opportunities as well. Just go to the website, planforme.com, planforme.com. It's Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living.
Clay Travis is the founder of Outkick. You see him on Fox, at Clay Travis on social media. He is with us now. What is up, Clay? How are you?
I'm doing well. How are y'all?
Doing fantastic. We appreciate you coming on. He's on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Were you surprised to see Tennessee, after a road loss at Georgia, drop all the way out of the bracket? Was just to begin with, was that surprising to you?
Not surprising. I thought they would do it. I don't personally think the playoff committee is making very much logical sense. And I don't know if you guys saw, I wrote on Sunday, I think we're at, what my buddy likes to call the cake baking season of college football, where like we all just kind of stand around and look at the respective cakes that each team has baked, and we try to be like, okay, let's taste this cake. It is a big part of college football, and then we all end up standing around arguing about different perspectives. But I actually think, to me, that we're not talking enough about strength of schedule in terms of how we value all these different teams. And, I'll focus on the SEC in particular to start, but Texas's best win this year is Vanderbilt. They haven't played anybody except for Georgia, who came to Texas and beat them by 15. So I think Georgia, first of all, Texas is way overranked at 3. I think that Georgia should be the highest ranked team in the SEC when you look at the totality of resumes, above even Texas. Now, you're also in a complicated situation because a lot of these teams have beaten each other, as typically happens, right? Like good teams in the NFL, if they play multiple different good teams, they beat each other. And I think we're moving more towards that era of college football where there is a higher degree of parity. And so you can't merely look at head-to-head to figure out Georgia, Texas, Tennessee, Alabama, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, if you want to put them in the mix. And so I think you have to look at the totality. Who have you played? To me, Georgia's played by far the toughest schedule, and they've gotten the best results. Does that mean that they've looked bad in some of those tough games? Yeah, they didn't look great against Ole Miss. Ole Miss whipped them. And so I look at who did you play, who did you beat, and then also if you want to not only look at the top end, right, like what are your good wins, how challenging has that been? I think you also look at the back end and say, okay, how high has your ceiling been, and also how low has your floor been? So, for instance, I think you can say Ole Miss's ceiling when they beat Georgia is very, very high, but I think their floor when they lost at home to Kentucky is very, very low. And so I think you have to assess that as you analyze the overall, again, takes of the respective contenders. That's SEC-based. The other thing I would say is if Indiana loses to Ohio State, I don't think Indiana, who doesn't have right now, I believe I'm correct, or is trending toward not having a win over a single team with a winning record, not one, I don't think Indiana belongs in the playoff even if they go 11-1. So I think they should fall behind all of the SEC schools that have played super tough schedules and have good wins and maybe some of you would say bad losses. I think that is more impressive to me than avoiding all significant competition in these mega conferences where you happen to get a lucky style schedule like a Texas and the SEC did, or Indiana did in the Big Ten.
Okay, they can't, and I do want to get to Texas, but I got to ask you about this Indiana thing. Like, if they were to lose a tight game to Ohio State, you wouldn't put them in. They have beat their opponents by an average of 30 points per game. I know it's shit, but it's not like they scheduled it.
Well, I think you have to wait and see how the game against Ohio State goes, right? So, I mean, if they lose 24-21 in Columbus, I mean, that's different than if they lose 38-14 or something like that. By the way, I'm not sure Ohio State's that good because Ohio State really hasn't played that tough of a schedule.
Well, who's good? Oregon's number one, and they lost Oregon by a point on the road.
Nobody's any good.
I'm not sure Oregon's that good. I'm not sure.
I mean, I agree with you, but got to put somebody in there.
Yeah, I think Oregon should be number one. They're undefeated. They beat Ohio State. They've gone on the road and won a lot of tough games, traveling halfway across the country. They beat Boise State, which actually looks like a pretty good win at this point, as Boise State seems poised as if they are going to make the playoff. But look, I mean, I think this is as wide open of a college football landscape as we have seen in some time. I think no matter who you're a fan of, your team has played one or more games, and certainly parts of games where you thought, man, we stink. And again, I think that goes to, for those of us who are also NFL fans, that happens a lot in the NFL, right? There's 4 or 5 games your team plays every year in the NFL where you're like, man, have they ever practiced? I think as the talent is more distributed evenly across college football, that's becoming more commonplace in college football as well.
I don't like to listen. I understand we have to fill 3 hours a day here, and they've got to do an hour every Tuesday night. I don't want to simplify this for everybody, but correct me if I'm wrong, Clay. 8 of the top 10 are SEC and Big Ten. They're the most powerful entities in the sport. I think all we're discussing here is which 4 Big Ten teams are in, and I think we know which 4 are in, which 4 SEC teams are in, and we're fighting for a 5th team, maybe a 6th team, but it's really who can get to the top 4 of the SEC. There's a group of 5, there's an ACC, there's a Big 12, and there's Notre Dame, and if Notre Dame loses, then we're sneaking in another wild card team. Really, we're just talking about who can be in the top 4 of the SEC, and then can Notre Dame get knocked out to where we sneak another SEC team in or 2? I think that's really the discussion, right?
Yeah, I think that's right. Also, I would say, to your point on the Big Ten, the 4 in the Big Ten have distinguished themselves more than the rest of the conference, whereas, I mean, I think there pretty clearly are still 6 SEC teams that if things went the way that they hope they go, they could all end up in the mix. And I think Greg Sankey is in a really tough spot if, you know, the ultimate SEC chaos scenario applies, which is 6 teams end up 10-2, right? I mean, that's crazy to think about, but it's not outlandish, right? All you would need is basically Texas A&M to beat Auburn. I think they're 2.5-point favorites this weekend down on the plane.
Yep.
We actually asked him that back at SEC Media Days. We did that.
Wasn't real interested in
he was not.
hypotheticals then.
Yeah, I get why you wouldn't want to, but I mean, like, it's not. Look, I think this is probably going to resolve itself because, as you guys know, down the stretch, the pressure gets ratcheted up a little bit. Just off the top of my head, Bama goes to Oklahoma, to say nothing of Auburn, who's been an enigma all year. But you guys know better than anybody that anything can happen in the Iron Bowl. Ole Miss got to go to Florida. Florida is playing the best football they've played all year. That's not going to be an easy win for Ole Miss. And then they have the Egg Bowl. I don't think Mississippi State's very good. But again, in rivalry games, one-off situations, who knows what might happen. Tennessee's got to go to Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's not bad, as Alabama fans can attest. So that's not a 100% home run. I think Auburn actually is going to beat A&M this weekend. That's something that I think Auburn's going to pull off. We'll see whether I'm right or wrong. But regardless, A&M's got that game, and then they got Texas. Texas got Kentucky. Kentucky somehow managed to beat Ole Miss at Oxford, and then they've got to go to A&M. I think Texas is going to lose that game. Let's see. I mean, you start to run through all of those different teams. Somebody is going, like, it'd be a fun, like, you can put it in on my bookie and see what the odds of it happening are. But people presume that favorites are going to win. If you were doing just a straight money line parlay on all of the SEC teams that are still out there, which would actually be fun, LT. I don't know what the numbers would be, but I think you'd probably get 3-1.
At least.
Yeah, but people don't think about that. Like, in other words, if you stack a bunch of 10 or 12-point favorites together over the next couple of weeks, and all of them have to hit in order for your money line parlay to cash, the odds of that happening are really low. So the reason why, if I were Greg Sankey, I'd be like, I don't talk about hypotheticals, is the odds of us ending up in a situation where every favorite wins every game the rest of the way, and we basically end up, with this 10-2, chaos scenario is actually very low. I think my thesis before the start of the year was if you got to 10-2 in the Big Ten or the SEC, you would make the playoff. And I still actually think that that's going to end up proving true. Now, we'll see. As you mentioned, Dunaway, Notre Dame's a wrinkle. We'll see what happens. You can put that game against SC. I'm out in L.A. right now talking to a bunch of SC guys about that game last night at dinner. They feel like, that the Trojans will put forward their best effort at that point in time. So there's a bunch of stuff out there you can kind of point to and say, hey, this is going to resolve itself before all is said and done. But in the meantime, I don't think there's a lot of logic in the playoff committee's rankings. And I don't think they're doing Ward Emanuel, who doesn't obviously get to make all the decisions, but I don't think he's a particularly eloquent defender of the choices that they're making in terms of the rankings.
Now, I know teams lost in front of Alabama, Clay, so they were going to naturally move up, even with a win over Mercer. But it did feel like the committee realized for the first time that Alabama has got a pretty good path to the SEC championship game. So if you are, in fact, not going to penalize the loser of the SEC championship game, which I don't think they will, they had to get Alabama in a pretty good position not to do that, right? I mean, that felt like why they jumped 3 spots.
Not only that, look at the way that they can manipulate the top 25 to help teams. I mean, first of all, it's a little bit arbitrary. I think we would all agree that, like, if you beat a top 25 team, it's a quality win. But if that team is 27, it's not a quality win, right? Like, that's very ridiculous. And maybe the most ridiculous of all committee rankings is you're arbitrarily cutting the line at 25, and then the 26th team, whoever that was, is suddenly not considered a quality win, right? Like, it's just, but they play that game. Look at the bottom of the top 25. I always tell people to pay attention to the narrative they're trying to set. This is not an accident. Missouri lost to South Carolina and didn't fall out of the top 25, right? They legitimately didn't move. How often does a team in the top 25 ever lose a game and not move at all? I mean, they were 23, I think I'm correct in this, last week. And then last night they were still 23. And you can say, well, South Carolina's pretty good. Okay, whatever you want to argue. But I think it's because they want Missouri to count as a quality win for the teams that beat Missouri in a way that it wouldn't if Missouri's 26, right? The other one is Illinois. Illinois suddenly is 25. You might be saying, okay, well, what's the significance of Illinois from an argument perspective? That's Penn State's only top 25 win. So you are creating, the narrative such that if Penn State were to, let's say, lose to Minnesota this weekend, which is another one of those games you could put in the money line parlay, that goes a long way. Because, by the way, if Penn State loses and falls to 10-2, does Penn State have a better resume than Ole Miss, Alabama, Tennessee, or Georgia?
They do not.
So. Yeah, so I think if you're being honest, you would have to drop Penn State below those teams, and Penn State would then be on the ropes, and the SEC teams would be in a better position. So, in other words, they are manipulating not only the ratings at the top, because I think you're right about where Alabama is, they're also manipulating the stories that they're able to tell based on where they put the teams at the bottom of the top 25.
I agree with what you're saying, that Auburn beats Texas A&M this weekend, and I think A&M then in turn beats Texas in College Station. If, in fact, that happens and Vanderbilt ends up 6-6 and is Texas's best win, do you believe Texas will get in at 10-2, or, I mean, with that brand, or do you think based on resume they're out?
I think they'd be out. I mean, and again, we don't know what's going to happen with Notre Dame. Is Penn State winning out? Like we just said, what happened in that Indiana-Ohio State game? Like there are other aspects of the college football playoff rankings, not just an either or, right? But if Texas loses to Texas A&M, A&M finishes in that scenario 9-3, right? With the loss to Notre Dame, with the loss to Auburn, and with the loss to South Carolina, right? So then you would have, like, as I re-rank them, you figure out, I would still have Georgia 1, right? Because I think Georgia would have the best overall resume. I think you can go back and forth between Tennessee and Alabama, right? The Tennessee-Alabama to me would be 2-3. I would have Ole Miss 4, and I would have Texas 5. Now, people can disagree with me about what my top 4 would be, but I think those 4, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, Ole Miss, would get in over 10-2 Texas and 9-3 A&M. Now, caveat, I have no idea what the tie-break scenarios are. So if all of those teams finish 6-2 in conference, all 6 of them, to your point, Ryan Brown, like do we just arbitrarily say, okay, two of those teams, like, is Texas win one of those tiebreakers? I don't know.
I think it's going to be Alabama, Georgia in the conference championship game at that point.
Okay, that would be the tiebreak if we had 6.
Yeah, I think once the more two-loss teams you start stacking, the more it favors Alabama and Georgia playing. Now, I can't swear that every scenario plays out that way, but as I've looked at it, I think the more two-loss teams you start adding, the closer it gets to being Alabama and Georgia.
Yeah, so then I think you would end up in I'm just saying, I don't know if Texas, it's possible, could win a 6-way, 6-2 tie to get into the SEC championship game, because then you get into that complicated situation of, well, what if Texas lost? Are you going to penalize them to get to the SEC title game? But does it feel a little bit arbitrary who gets picked because you got a 6-way tie, right? So, again, I think Texas would be in the 5th spot if you and I are right, LT, and if Auburn wins this weekend and then A&M comes back and beats Texas, who otherwise would then have a loss to A&M and Georgia, the only 2 top 25 teams that they would have played all year. That Michigan win, obviously does not hold much cachet, as Michigan's a 6-6-ish team. I don't think they would make. I don't think they would make the playoff then.
My grandfather used to have this little garden in the backyard. Do you ever grow anything in the backyard?
Me?
Yeah. I'm asking.
Do I seem like a big garden guy? My grandfathers both grew everything. I have never in my life grown a single thing.
Well, I mean, I know you're qualified to be treasury because I've been around you spending a lot of money before. So I'm looking at open cabinet positions. Agriculture still open. Yeah, housing and urban development. Could you handle that? I mean, we're running out of spots. You've got to have a labor. You'd be good at labor.
I think I could be AG, honestly. And I think what's better.
Who's not an? Oh, well, yeah, he's going to have to go to plan 2 there, right?
Yeah, so, I think AG might be
that may be the plan, right? Throw him out there, and then you're candidate number 2.
And I think everyone in the state of Alabama would agree there's nobody that could be better entrusted with the entire might and power of the justice system in the most powerful country in the world than me. I don't even see it as a difficult call. I was, by the way, at Mar-a-Lago with the president of Argentina, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Sylvester Stallone, and you guys know I'm not a brag kind of guy.
Sure. Yep.
Look at me kind of person.
Yep.
But I will say, and I bet you guys, having grown up in the 80s, will also think this is pretty badass. When I met Sylvester Stallone, he said to me, "I love everything you're doing, Clay. You are just awesome."
Well, I had to feel good.
The idea that Rocky and the idea that Rambo, if you had told me when I was a kid watching those movies in the 80s, would ever know my name, I was like, oh, this is unbelievable, right? Like, you kind of get used to it.
Yeah, my son would flip, man. I mean, like Rocky, he watches Tulsa King with me. I don't know do you watch Tulsa King?
Tulsa King is really good.
Yeah, it's a little cheesy, but it's a great role for him, something completely different.
Yeah.
That was pretty amazing. But yeah, Dunaway, I told your boy Trump. I said, hey, you got a tough cookie down in Alabama. He's a big Kamala guy, but I think you can win him over and do a good job.
I'll tell you the one thing I love about him is this Hegseth guy, the guy who's got nominated for defense. If you go look at Politico, the picture they have of him as they're laying out the cabinet. He's got a cowboy hat on, and nothing says America more than our defense guy with a freaking cowboy hat.
Right.
And by the way, it's not a white cowboy hat; it's a black cowboy hat.
Yeah,
so don't mess with us. Don't mess with us.
Pete lives in Nashville now. He moved his family down, but I was on with him for 5 hours on election night. Pete was the host with Fox on Kid Rock in Kid Rock's Honky Tonk on Broadway. So I was picking my kids up at school last week, I guess it was, and my phone just blows up, and the first text I see is, "Did you think you were doing the show from Kid Rock's drinking beers with the next Secretary of Defense?" And I had no idea. Pete, did not say that he was potentially in the mix there, but look, if you go on Fox News and the president likes you, next thing you know, you're AG. So
who knows?
You guys just be careful. I might have to do an investigation of the College Football Playoff Committee rankings.
Clay, thank you for the time. Have a great week.
All right, appreciate y'all.
All right, Clay Travis with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Real quick, I will say I did confirm, if you have all those 6 teams in 6-2 tie, it is Bama, Georgia. The last team, and I don't know that this would matter to the committee, but the last team in terms of tie breaks is Tennessee. They would be 6th in that 6-team tie when you break all the ties.
Because of the strength of schedule that Chris Martler had pointed out, we talked about earlier. A couple of sponsors, one more thing to talk about before we get to the top of the hour. Jon Sumrall next hour. Also, we'll talk about Alabama's big basketball game. Is it too early to say Alabama's on the bubble? We'll talk about it tonight in the next segment coming up. The show being brought to you by a couple of great folks, including our friends at Milo's. Tell us about Milo's.
Hot take, Brown, you got one?
I gave you my hot take yesterday. I will double down on my hot take today. Tennessee has got trouble. They are not guaranteed to get back in this thing. Don't just blow off what the committee did last night.
And my hot take is Indiana covers the spread this weekend and maybe pulls the upset after the Seth McLaughlin injury.
Oh, wow.
I mean, you've already lost your left tackle. Now you've lost your center.
That's one thing. Bringing the heat with Milo's hot takes, hot off the press. Milo's introduced 2 new spicy sandwiches, Mexi Burger and the spicy chicken sandwich, 100% pure ground beef, grilled onions, jalapenos, creamy white queso. That makes up the Mexi Burger, the crispy chicken sandwich, made with Milo's chicken tenders that are marinated overnight, hand-breaded in a signature Milo seasoning, topped with pickles and their Boom Boom sauce.
There's a picture of them right there, LT, with that QR code. Look at that.
Order through the mobile app. Enter the promo code NEXTROUND, all caps. That's NEXTROUND, all caps. No spacing. Get either one free with any purchase. Attached right there, that QR code. You can scan it. Get one of those absolutely free.
Yeah, it looks really good there. That QR code helps you out tremendously. Also by our friends at MyBookie. Basketball betting line tonight, Brownie. Illinois, top 25 KenPom team against Alabama. Top 25 KenPom team. Legacy Arena, 8 o'clock tonight. What's the betting line?
8.5 Crimson Tide.
I got to play on this, by the way.
Do you?
MyBookie.com.
We're not going to ask Lance tip his hand there.
Kind of off a 4-2 college basketball night.
Oh, look at you. 8.5 your number there for the Crimson Tide. Alabama favored over Purdue. Dunaway will be there at that game. A little T tonight. College football lines continue to update there. Auburn, as we just talked about with Clay, 2.5-point favorite. Or 2.5-point underdog, I should say, against Texas A&M there at Jordan-Hare Stadium. The Alabama Crimson Tide holding in around a 14-point favorite. That's been about where it is, dipped down to 13.5 there for the Crimson Tide at Norman. MyBookie.ag is where you can play those games. MyBookie.ag. Code NEXTROUND when you sign on. Use code NEXTROUND. You make your initial deposit. They double it with code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag. MyBookie.ag. Code NEXTROUND. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag. Code NEXTROUND.
Okay, and again, not to simplify this too much, but it's simple math. One group of 5, one ACC, one Big 12. They have to be in there. If Notre Dame gets in there, that's 4 spots. There are 4 Big 10 teams that are the only good Big 10 teams, but they're there, right? Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, Indiana. It's going to be hard for one of those 4 to miss it.
Well, I mean, if Indiana beats,
they get run.
If they get run, or if Minnesota beats Penn State.
Yeah, Minnesota beating Penn State, that's tricky for Penn State.
It is, but it's the Big 10. It'll be hard, but that's 8 right there. Unless chaos starts happening. That leaves only 4 spots open for what could be 6 deserving SEC teams. 2 of them being left out.
Well, look,
if Texas A&M beats Texas.
I still, back to Clay's point on doing this parlay with all favorites, and by the way, you can compound those and you can make some money if you go undefeated, but the problem is it's very difficult to do because there's always upsets. Yeah. And I think there's going to be upsets. I think Notre Dame's still going to lose. I think Penn State's got their hands full this weekend. I think Texas is going to lose.
But is Texas even the favorite at College Station?
Yeah.
They are?
They are.
Okay.
To your point, at MyBookie, every week I do a money line 14, 15-team parlay where I just take
all
heavy favorites.
Yeah.
And it ends up getting you up to like a +7, plus 700 odds, like if you bet 10, you win 70.
I'll do one and break.
Have you come close yet?
I'll do one and break.
I've been 14-1.
14-1,
yeah. 13-2, but as LT's saying, I mean, they're usually all 14-point favorites.
Yeah.
But inevitably,
somebody
hits you over the head.
Yeah.
Somebody hits you over the head. I mean, it's...
And for those that don't know, I mean, not everyone does this. Money line that's just betting on the favorite.
That's just you're betting on the
winner. Betting on the winner.
Right here, Ole Miss against Florida. Now, Ole Miss is a 10-point favorite, but they're -375 on the money line. So you can lay $375 to win $100, and all they got to do is win the game. I'm going to put one of these together and break, and we can come back.
I do it every week, and I do it usually after our morning show, and I just bang it out real quick. I'm just like,
boom, 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 boom. 14 of them.
Yeah, you know, like.
But you always do favorites?
Oh, yeah, it's always the favorites, and it's a small bet, and it's a huge number of them because you got to go a huge number of them just to get, the odds
right.
up to where,
unless you include some underdogs. Now, if you start including some underdogs, those numbers jump up, right?
I've done that before. It gets you in trouble. Gets you in trouble. It's what that does. I mean, you can go 13 money line heavy favorites and go 2 underdogs and just the point spreads.
Yeah.
Or take them on money line.
Yeah.
You really shoot the odds up then.
You know what that is?
What is that? That's me handing you money.
That's right. That's why they keep the lights on.
Handing you money right there. Top of the hour. And then when we come back, we're gonna do our sneaky good games. We got 4 downs. We got Jon Sumrall coming up. A bunch of good stuff. Basketball talk. All brought to you by our friends at New York Butcher Shop. Tell us about New York Butcher. Thanksgiving is a week from tomorrow.
That's
We're
incredible.
8 days away from that Spock roast. Spatchcock.
We look, if you have not planned your Thanksgiving, our man Jim at the New York Butcher Shop, he can handle it for you. Their turkey's fresh, all natural, hormone-free from Joyce Farms, one of the best poultry producers in all of America. They can smoke or brine them for you. They also have the smoked ham, certified Angus prime beef tenderloins, rib roast. All of their side dishes prepared in-house will feed 8 to 10 people. However, they do have smaller sizes that feed 4 to 6. Don't forget desserts like the pies, cakes, banana breads, great wine selection to pair with your turkey. They are taking reservations right now. Stop in one of those 2 locations. New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well done service.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trustful. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations. Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by, ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, CoverCrimson.com and TheBarnAuburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge. plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. CoverCrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Sneaky good game in just a second. We'll get to that going into week 13 of college football. Little basketball talk to start this hour off because Alabama's got a big one tonight. But bad time to be an owl.
Scott burned one to ashes yesterday in the upset alert.
But if you're paying attention, fired coaches already. Rice, Kennesaw State, Temple, and Florida Atlantic. What do they all have in common?
They're owls.
They're all owls.
All group of 5 owls.
Mascot owls.
Mm-hmm.
3 of them are American Athletic Conference owls, aren't they?
They are indeed.
Yeah, and Kennesaw State.
Did you see the Adam Schefter report this morning?
Adam Schefter reporting that
concerning Florida Atlantic. If I have that, if you're you would have known.
No, Charlie Weiss Jr.
I did see this.
Charlie Weiss Jr. makes a little bit of sense. He's coached there.
That's who I saw. Charlie Weiss Jr. as a candidate.
Ray Lewis is interested
in Florida Atlantic, John.
Yeah, you remember his great years playing for FAU, don't you?
I don't.
I remember the Cobalt Lounge, January of 2000.
Ray Lewis. Now, Matt Zenitz follows up. It says there has been no communication. Matt Zenitz is with 24/7. Is that who Matt's with now, Jim? I think 24/7. Matt follows up and says there's been no communication between the two, and according to his sources, there's no interest on the Florida Atlantic side. Apparently, there's interest on the Ray Lewis side.
Yeah, here's what's happening. And at the NFL level, it's different. But I was going to say guys like Dan Campbell, getting that opportunity and everybody buying into that culture and obviously Detroit's winning at a high level, but really this is, can we get the next Deion Sanders?
Yeah.
And, from Jackson State to Colorado, I'm telling you, that's going to be like a 1 in a million.
It is.
Just because you were a great player doesn't mean you're going to be a great coach.
Yeah. Trent Dilfer at UAB, a big name. He's got credentials in high school. He's struggling a little bit at UAB.
Magic Johnson was one of the worst coaches I've ever seen.
Yeah. It generally does not translate.
Patrick, Ray Lewis would kill there, allegedly.
I'm not. I've never been a fan. Incredible, one of the best linebackers we've ever seen.
Maybe the best middle linebacker ever to play the game.
You can make the argument, no doubt, but I'm just not a fan.
It would be a weird fit.
Before LT tells us about Dr. B, it's the anniversary of a big college football moment last year.
Last year?
Jordan Travis injury. What is in 366 days now? It happened a year ago yesterday. 366 days later, Florida State is still in pain.
Yeah, boy, they've never recovered. They've won one game since then. No, they went on and won.
They won the
Florida
game against Louisville
and the ACC game.
Yep, they won 2 games
without
him.
Yeah, beat Florida, beat ACC championships. They won 3 games.
But I was reading the article, and here it is because I want to get these numbers straight. This is crazy. So Mike Norvell went 3-10 in his first 13 games in Tallahassee. 9-6 in the next 15, then won 19 in a row. Since winning 19 in a row, they are 1-10 in their last 11.
Dr. B bringing you that college football moment. Flashback 2023.
And, I wonder if the Norvell, the perception would be different if he doesn't get hurt, because I think we all agree they get to a 14 playoff. I don't know how much noise they make in the 14 playoff, but, having, that notch for Mike Norvell does make things a lot different. Hey, speaking of different, so started to thin out on the hair. Actually got my hair cut. Our boy Roni yesterday, he was like, man, this is really, really holding up. Well, And it's because I'm doing the non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. Brown is doing it as well. Dr. B pioneered the use of NeoGraft hair restoration in Alabama. He remains at the forefront of hair preservation in the Southeast. He takes pride in treating each patient personally, applying his expertise to produce the quality results. For more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. B for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. Call Dr. B and that great staff today. Schedule your consultation, 205-319-0316, 205-319-0316, or T3hair.net.
A+ tile remodeling.
Yeah, that was almost incredible.
God, I wish that was on camera.
A lesser athlete would have fallen then.
Yeah, absolutely.
My boot slipped off my chair as I was hopping back in there.
Yes.
High chairs, 10.5, hard to get in them.
Yes, I understand. A+ tile home remodeling. That's who redid the master bath in the Brown house. And when it came time to do that, my wife, Jennifer, scoured the internet looking for the best person for the job. She talked to contractors. She visited with certain contractors. She read reviews, talked to people who use contractors. I mean, she did a deep dive. And she's like, I think Brad Bell's the right guy for the job. I'm glad we picked him. He did tremendous work. His crews were courteous. They were on time. They were clean. They worked hard. At the end of every day, they walked us through what had been accomplished that day, made sure it met our standards. I could not say anything more about what Brad did. He did work at Lance's house. And for so many of our audience, we get great feedback. He specializes in master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. Master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. That's not all he does, but it is certainly his specialty, and he can help you in those areas. The great news is you make your money back in those areas when you go to sell your home. 205-422-1758, 205-422-1758. That is Brad Bell, A+ Tile Home Remodeling.
All right, basketball tonight down at Legacy. Illinois and Alabama. Alabama, the 8.5-point favorite at mybookie.ag. 3-0 Illinois, 3-1 Alabama. The only reason I'm sending out the alarm bells here, LT, is last night, number 6 Purdue went to number 15 Marquette on Marquette's home floor, and Shaka Smart's defense beat Purdue 76-58. Wasn't close. Alabama forced Purdue into 3 turnovers on Purdue's home court now.
Mm-hmm.
Last night, Purdue had 15 turnovers in that game. A 12 turnover swing, Marquette's defense to what Alabama's defense was able to do. Now it's on the road Purdue, home Purdue. So there's some nuance there. But
in November.
That was a shocking from Shaka Smart's defense last night.
That's a really good Marquette team, though. I would ask you guys, what do you think the attendance will be tonight?
I'm looking at about 14,500, about 3,000 more than a normal game at Coleman. A normal November game in Coleman. About 14-5.
I think Alabama fans are a bit gun-shy on these Birmingham games. It has not traditionally gone well.
Alabama doesn't play well there. It's an 8 o'clock Wednesday night. But
this is an Illinois team that has
trivia hurts it a little bit.
Trivia. We're going to be drawing people away.
Big dent in it. Look, I don't know how good this Illinois squad is. Really good last year.
Yeah. I trust their coach.
Brad Underwood's a really good coach.
In his 8th year there, Will Riley's a 17-point scorer. I'll tell you, a big concern is Ifazic. He played in Europe. He played pro ball in Croatia.
Tomislav
Ivazic played 2 years of professional basketball in Croatia. And he's still eligible to play in college. I don't understand that.
He'll be after his career is done, he'll be working a door at a nightclub in Munich.
He
is a legit 7-1.
7-1. I'd walk over to the scorer's table after the tip if I was Nate Oates and say, we're playing this game in a protest. That guy played professional basketball for 2 years. But he is a force. And if you saw Purdue's big man, Kaufman Wren, who was 12 of 23 from the floor and 26 in the win, when Amori's on the floor, Alabama was beating Purdue. When Amori was off the floor, they got drilled.
I think he was the only one that was plus in the plus-minus in that game.
So.
Yeah,
I think so. Here's Nate Oates, who he knows this is it's a big game. Got a lot of them coming up. Don't always have to win these. Just got to play these. Alabama survived losing up most of them last year. But Illinois brings a challenge to Alabama, and it's really about Alabama playing their A game.
Mark's a scorer. He needs to see the ball go through the rim, and they did a good job not letting him get off early. They denied him. They made it tough on his catches. They tried to blow up handoffs and ball screens. Like, they did a good job. Now we've probably got to do a better job of, one, getting them open with screens, but two, using them as a screener if teams aren't trying to help off them, kind of like we had to do with Brandon Miller when he had it going. And Mark's preseason player of the year, some of these publications and teams are going to guard him like that, and we as a coaching staff have to do a better job getting him going, and then he's got to do a better job when he does get it, and he's attracting so much traffic, he kind of getting off, and maybe there's games where he's got 10 assists and 1 turnover like Braden Smith, and just plays a little more efficient. So we got to help him better. Then he's got to make some better reads, and I think he'll be ready to play a lot better game against Illinois.
He missed 10 shots. He was 5 of 15, 1 of 6 from 3, and what Nate's saying there, Mark's the star. Everything runs through him, but if they're collapsing on you, you got to give it back up.
Yeah, I mean, he was a 20-point per game machine last year, and we've discussed that probably doesn't hold up this year just because of the talent that is on this roster.
Averaging 17 right now.
I mean,
I think
almost so far.
Look, I mean, Purdue, they've won, I forgot how many in a row now at home, non-conference games, or even just consecutive games. So that was what you would call a quality loss. Alabama had a 5-point lead in the second half. I really think their biggest challenge has been lack of consistency from 3, and the fact that Nate really is still trying to figure out how to balance these minutes. You know what you're getting with Sears.
And you're playing without a starter right now, I would like to point out. I mean, I think Youngblood is I don't know why I said his name that way. Youngblood. I think Youngblood is going to be a starter when he is back healthy. Don't you? I mean, don't you anticipate? Everybody I talked to in Tuscaloosa says that
probably
guy's
so,
going to be in the starting rotation.
Yeah, if not, he's quick off the bench. 10 guys played at Purdue. 9 of them with major minutes, 9 minutes with Diabate, 2 minutes from Sherrell. Everyone else was double digits playing time. So whittled down a little bit in that road game at Purdue. Illinois tonight, 8 o'clock, right there at Legacy Arena.
I think you could hear it in Coach's voice as well there. He is very bad under the weather right now, which is why we punted the interview yesterday. I know we promised you an on-demand, and we hate to promise you something and not deliver. But Coach is under the weather. He just very, very kindly asked if he could reschedule. He did not feel well at all yesterday. So I hope he's feeling better today, at least for a game.
Well, truthfully, he was, at a doctor's appointment.
Well, yeah, that was part of it, yeah. So.
Yeah. I'm going to say he got a Z-Pack and a steroid shot.
That always helps me.
That just seems to be what I always get when I go to the doctor.
How good do you feel about like 3 or 4 hours after that?
Fantastic.
You're like, I have conquered this.
Ready to kick a little Illini ass is the way I feel about that. We'll see you at the game tonight. Hopefully you're all going in there. A few tickets still remain. Legacy Arena tonight. We'll get into our sneaky good game after LT tells us about our friends at Odie's. What's happening at Odie's?
A little team trivia tonight. Me, Brown, our man Will Haver will get started a little after 8 o'clock. Get there early. Enjoy some of the great food from Rodney Davis from the award-winning wings, delicious burgers, great sandwiches like the Diablo sandwich, ice-cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. Stop at one of those 2 great locations, Birmingham institutions, Crestline, now Edgewood. Get in and see Will Haver and that great staff. It's Odie's Tavern.
Birthday shout-out in the chat room, Jim. King MJ205.
King M, happy birthday.
King MJ205.
Happy birthday.
A birthday shout-out. Don't know how old he is, but happy birthday, King MJ.
Yeah. Wacky birthday. Happy birthday to him.
Wacky.
Yeah. So glad to see him. He was willing to donate. He's got some dreadlocks he's grown out. He says he was willing to donate them to anyone on the show who Dr. B was not successful with. I assume he was talking to me. So you hit us up.
I would love to see you in dreads.
Hit us up, King M, and I'll try the dreads on if you ship them to us.
You remember the Office where Michael went to Jamaica and he came back and he had his hair like normal.
Do you not remember like being in school and somebody would come back from spring break and like some girl had her hair?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I do remember that.
What did you
always
like
wondered
that?
what happened this summer with her. I didn't like it, no, but I was always one of the first ones to ask her out.
It depended. There was times it worked.
I figured she had a Brad Summer.
Yeah, Brad Summer.
She went out and had a good time.
What was the? It was Bo Derek and 10. Remember, everybody thought she was so hot back in the 80s with that braided up hair.
That poster.
All right, Tyler, let's do our spotlight today. If you'll hit the big button, he'll tell us about McCurry.
The College Football Spotlight.
This weekend's sneaky good game.
If you need a car, van, or truck, McCurry is the place you go. They can be very difficult to find. They got the SUVs, the passenger vans, the cars, and they make it super easy to rent. In and out fast. Athens, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, 2nd Avenue Northwest at Coleman, Skyline Boulevard at Tuscaloosa. Reserve that rental today, 256-559-1003. That's 256-559-1003, or visit McCurryRentals.com. That is McCurryRentals.com.
This is my first biology game of the year. Biology 101 game of the year. Hashtag sphincter game. Or as Tyler would say, in the butt.
In the butt.
11 a.m. ABC. We don't do cursive writing much anymore, but we do in this game, boys.
Hotty
Give
toddy.
me Ole Miss in Florida. This is a sneaky good game. Here comes Florida playing good football. Can Lane Kiffin's Ole Miss Rebels handle the sphincter moment of the season, LT? This will be a test. I wish it was a night game. 11 a.m. sneaky good.
Yeah, look, I'll stick in the SEC with you. I don't have it because I can't find my eraser, and I've still got that.
You want to do it real quick while I go?
No, well,
Okay.
yeah, it's fine. Auburn hosting Texas A&M. I don't know how sneaky this is, but A&M, after winning 7 consecutive games, lose to South Carolina. They bounced back last week. What can they do without Le'Veon Moss running the football? I think it's going to be tough sledding Saturday night in Jordan-Hare. Again, I think Auburn wins this game, but I think this comes down to the wire, and I think it's a fantastic game.
By the way, if you missed it yesterday, the Gopher drawing was fantastic. Did you try to erase it with your fingernails?
No, I just putting papers on top of it did that.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it chips it up a little bit. I have the same issue when mine falls inevitably.
Yeah.
Hey, but you know what I did that we didn't mention
yesterday? The most impressive
yesterday?
part of that was the M.
Well, I was going to say I used the highlighter that you said. I got a lot of good luck when I use the highlighter on the board. So we'll see what happens there. Yeah, snuck it in.
When Lance goes highlighter.
Yep.
Snuck it in there. The
Look
M's
out,
the most
look out Penn
impressive
State.
thing. Yeah.
Look out Penn State. Guys, why do we play football? Why do we play football?
We play football to win the game.
To win the game. And if you win enough games, what do they give you at the end of the season?
A trophy.
A trophy.
And a ring.
And a ring. I mean, it's why we play the whole season, right? It's
Wait, is the Brown Bandit back?
It's why, he's feared dead. I don't know if you know this. Missing feared dead. It's why we play the whole season. And if you win enough games in your conference, guys, if you win enough games in your conference, they hand you that trophy at the end and they say, congratulations, you're the best team in our conference.
And then you can run around Las Vegas and have a great time with that trophy.
That's right. Absolutely. We got one of those such games this weekend. They play for the Pac-12 championship, guys. You play all year in conference to get to this one game.
It literally is the Conference of Champions.
Massive game.
Massive game where you win, you hold up the trophy. Wazoo is at Oregon State. They're playing for the Pac-12 championship. You can see it where you see all your championship football games. The CW at 6 o'clock. Sneaky good game. Wazoo at Oregon State. Playing for the Pac-12, baby.
Well played, man. It's the Conference of Champions. That is McCurry bringing you the spotlight of the day.
McCurryRentals.com. That is McCurryRentals.com. Did you see Missouri's script Mizzou on their helmet at South Carolina? You hate those helmets.
Yeah. Well, here's what I hate about Missouri.
You hate any script logo.
No, here's what I hate about Missouri. You find me a game they wore the helmet 2 games in a row.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like they're almost trying to be,
Oregon?
Midwestern Oregon.
Yeah, but not in a good way.
Yeah.
They're horrible uniforms.
Well, the crazy thing, last week, Oregon going to Wisconsin didn't even have any of their color scheme.
Yeah.
Like there was no green, there was no yellow.
It's like black and gray,
right?
black and
so
silver.
dumb.
Yeah. Good looking uniform, though.
I didn't think so.
I thought it was
You didn't like
it? Yeah. I hate Missouri's whole concept when it comes to uniforms and logos. That little tiger logo they have, hate it. That Block M, I know it's a Block M. You can't get excited about a Block M, but it's their best logo. It's their best helmet.
Tiger with the beanie like everybody else had back in the 60s and 70s. You don't like that one?
I like it better than the oval tiger.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, that tiger is a crappy logo.
I really hate everything about Missouri.
Script Missouri.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate their home stadium. I hate their field that's so glossy on day games. I hate the font they use for their numbers and the numbering.
I do too.
I hate the low camera angle where you can't really see the play. I hate everything about Missouri football. Everything about it.
Yeah, I don't even like Missouri basketball.
It doesn't really bother me one way or the other.
Oh, boy, I thought it would be a lot better than that.
I did too. I mean, if I'm being honest, I don't like Eli Drinkwitz.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that do.
Never met Eli.
I like Mizzou's uniforms when they were in the Big 12. I just like their old school Block M. It's okay to be traditional. It's okay to be boring if it's the best look you got. That script Mizzou sucked.
Yeah. Not a fan.
Though on the flip side, Script State on the side of the helmet at Mississippi State, I like better than that Banner M. I don't like the Banner M.
I agree with you on the Banner M. State's best uniform they wore. I don't know how much you guys watched State and Tennessee. There's another State game I watched. they wore their best uniform there. It was the white jersey, but it's the silver pants that they wear.
They should always be in silver pants.
And they had the Script State helmet. That is State's best uniform.
Like
State has struggled to find a good
Tennessee
one.
needs to stay away from the gray, though.
I agree 100% with you on that.
I like the MSU baseball interlocking logo for football too at Mississippi State.
Yeah.
But they should always be in the silver breeches.
Yeah, they're silver breeches, maroon top or white top. Yep.
So
that's their best look.
It's a good look.
It's a Matt Wyatt era.
And it keeps them from looking like Texas A&M.
I agree completely.
Yeah, it looks really good.
I don't know why they don't do it full time. I don't know why that's not their full-time uni.
Silver breeches from now on, Jeff Lane.
Yeah, he should.
All right, one more thing to tell you about right here. Hemphill bringing you cold weather, by the way. Tonight is you're walking into Legacy Arena. I checked this. From car to inside at 7, game tips at 8. If you get out of your car at 7 to make your way into Legacy Arena tonight, it'll be 49 degrees.
Ooh. That's cold, Jim.
Hey, you need to make sure your unit is ready to keep up with this changing weather. And our friends at Hemphill Services, they can do this for you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Tell them the next round sent you. Whether you experience any heating issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. It is hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
Okay, a couple of sound bites that had not gone over well with a lot of people. First off, cut 8. Dabo Swinney yesterday, having a chance to talk. If you missed Tommy Tuberville, Senator Tommy Tuberville, he has talked about mandating contracts, which I agree with. 1, 2, 3-year contracts, which I agree with. That's the way I want it laid out.
Yep, I'm with him on this.
If you break the contract, you owe some kind of financial something to the school. You're breaking the contract to go to another school. If you want to just always be in the portal, sign a 1-year contract, 2-year, 3-year, your choice. Nobody has a 4-year contract. Your 4th year, you can be free to go to another school, to the NFL, however you want to do it. But 3-year contracts, agree with Tommy. He did say that he thought Indiana bought their team this year. Look at Indiana. They bought their team this year. He doesn't think that should be legal. Using money on the recruiting trail.
It's a bit of a mischaracterization. Now, they paid some guys to come, but they brought a ton of guys from James Madison. I don't know how much they paid any of those guys.
And we are a copycat world. Everybody's going to be doing this.
Yeah, I would have to imagine Curtis Rourke got a little something.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, they may have bought their most important player. I don't know if they bought their whole team.
But I think at this point, everybody's doing it.
Oh, I don't disagree with you at all. Yeah.
And he did say that, back when I was coaching, they sort of frowned on doing that for the most part. I always loved the most part.
For the most part, yes.
Something little,
I don't want to paint myself in a corner here.
A little under the table stuff. But I love the contracts. But one thing that in this house settlement that's happening, and you've seen this, that's why Tyler Booker said thank you to the walk-ons this past week. Dabo Swinney defending the walk-ons because it sounds like a lot. 105 is going to be the limit by this house settlement that the football roster can have. 105 is it.
It's 125 right now, right?
I don't even know if there's a limit when it comes to walk-ons.
When it comes to walk-ons? Gotcha.
Yeah, but it's 105 is going to be a hard limit. Dabo Swinney doesn't like it.
It's very simple. Like, first of all, you know who definitely has to leave, so that makes it easy. And then basically anybody that's a 4th year, that if you're not coming back, like we have to cut a lot of guys this year. We have a lot. It's terrible. It's the worst thing in my whole coaching career and what's going on. But we've got to cut a bunch of kids that have been in our program. So I've given all of them an option. If they are, a 4th year, then they have the option to be honored as a senior. They've earned that. And some of these kids would be back for their 5th year next year, and they're not going to have the opportunity to do that. And that's sad, but that's the way it is.
Most of those walk-ons that'll be cut out of the program, then you say, well, Jim, there's only 85 scholarships. Well, there's not going to be a scholarship limit here pretty soon. And then there are the preferred walk-ons, which are basically, scholarship guys that get a little extra to come in. You're losing some of the blood of a program there.
Here is what that was really going to hate is when they go to what Tommy Tuberville's talking about and players are under contract and there's a salary cap and there's also a roster limit. He thinks he doesn't like cutting guys now. Just wait till that roster limit's at 75.
He might be one of these guys that taps out early.
He could be.
LT has said, let me correct this.
We have said right.
But we have said that there will be a coach that may just walk away this year.
Yeah. I think we believe that you will see I don't want to say Nick Saban-like because he's the greatest to ever do it, but I do think you will see meaningful coaches at least every other year start tapping out.
I mean, it's not going to be an NFL roster limit. I don't think it'll be that low, which is 53 man. But I do think it's going to be 75 or 80. Like, it's 105 right now. It's going to shrink again. There is no way the colleges are going to sign up for a salary cap that would allow for a 100-man roster.
And one more, cut 9, Tyler. Deion Sanders yesterday gets asked about him being back at Colorado next year. He's going to get this a lot. And his name is being mentioned in the NFL. Part of it is Michael Irvin, who played with Deion and played with the Cowboys. He's been on a couple of podcast interviews where he gets asked, if the Cowboys end up with Shedeur Sanders, do you think Deion Sanders would be interested in being the head coach? And Michael Irvin says 100%. And I know that from the source, Michael Irvin says. So Deion gets asked about.
Said it on the Fight Friday night, too.
Yeah, said it on the Fight Friday night, too. Michael Irvin is saying if Shedeur ends up with the Cowboys in the draft, don't be surprised if Deion Sanders isn't there in Dallas. Here's Deion on not being at Colorado anymore.
You're mentioned for everything that comes up these days, college, pro, whatever.
Yeah.
Is that just the
you
price
gonna
of
talk
winning?
like that with my AD in here? That's so disrespectful. You gonna talk about me going somewhere with my AD in here? Yeah, they mentioned us with a lot of other stuff before we start winning too, didn't they? Did that? That wasn't fair, was it? Price. That's the price of everything. Hold on one second. I'm happy where I am, man. I'm good. I got a kickstand down. You know what a kickstand is? A lot of people don't in there, not of age, don't know what a kickstand is. That means I'm resting. I'm good. I'm happy. I'm excited. I'm enthusiastic about where I am. I love it here. I truly do. Next question.
I initially saw that quote out of context and did not realize what Prime was saying.
Yeah.
Well, I like that jacket. Now, you got to be a Prime-like guy to be able to pull that thing off.
Oh, no doubt, yeah.
That thing pops.
Yeah.
That's an 80s throwback. That's a vodka in the eyeball throwback.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, man, if he stays at Colorado, that's a heck of a win for them. Now, I mean, we've doubted everything about him, but once he loses Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, the next act for him will be
Julian
recruiting
Lewis
out of the portal or whatever, or a guy like Juju Lewis.
Yeah, I mean, he decommits over the weekend to USC and is down to Georgia, Colorado, and Indiana. Yeah. So if Deion was to get a project like him, maybe it does make him hold on. I heard a great comment this morning, and it was a former player, and he was talking about this dynamic if Deion was to go to the NFL and found a way to finagle wherever he goes to get his kid. He said, man, the locker rooms we're in, like, we're all grown men, and it's not going to be a comfortable situation if your head coach is the father of your starting quarterback.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
And it's really a good point.
That's like high school all over again, isn't it?
It's crazy, yeah.
Jon Sumrall in the next segment. LT's going to tell us about Gray's Tree Service, which really has saved his house with a couple of 4 dead pines. You guys are reacting to the kickstand reference. You're correct. When Deion says kickstand, it's very different than when Lane Kiffin says kickstand. Very different.
If Lane had his kickstand down in Oxford, everybody would be like, wait, what, Lane?
Yeah. Apparently he had it down in Tuscaloosa at one point.
Yeah, I'm sure the kickstand came out in the old White House back in the 90s in Dallas, though.
Tell us about Grace.
Family owned and operated for over 25 years right here in Birmingham. If you have the dead trees, you're not really sure if you need to get them extracted, call our friends at Grace. They'll come out and give you an absolutely free estimate. John Mark did it for me months and months ago. I got them to remove the 4 pines. As Dunaway said, they are experts in high-risk tree removals.
We said it.
Trusted by nearly every golf course in town. At the Birmingham Zoo, there is no competition. Call 205-281-6100. Scan that QR code or just visit graystree.com.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Looking for a great place for that boring meeting? Leave the office and go to the Golfus. What about corporate events like board meetings, sales meetings, customer appreciation events? How about the Golfus? Watch parties for football and basketball, parties for birthdays or couple showers. The Golfus is a great place for those. The Golfus has Birmingham's best golf simulators and man caves in Vestavia on Highway 31, opening soon in Trussville and on Highway 280. Bring whatever you want to eat or drink, even bring your own clubs. Get out of the office. Go to the Golfus. Book your spot now at thegolfus.com.
Bryant Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
Thanksgiving is here, and let the New York Butcher Shop be the place to get all of your holiday meal items. Their premium turkeys are fresh, free-range, and hormone-free. The New York Butcher Shop also has a wide selection of chef-prepared side items to help save you time in the kitchen. Pick up a bottle of wine, and your meal will be complete. Turkeys are selling fast, so place your order today. 2 locations to serve you, in Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, we believe the best holiday fun happens out there. On the driveway with a new basketball hoop, out back around the fire pit, or up in the deer stand. No matter your fun, we've got it. The right stuff at the right price. Academy. Have fun out there.
Happy football season. At The Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today. Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Here at The Next Round, we love our guests, especially our 2024 football regulars. Auburn and Alabama fans, we've got your guys. On Mondays at 9:25, we'll be joined by Alabama offensive lineman Tyler Booker, and Tuesdays at 9:25, we chat with Auburn quarterback Peyton Thorne. Join us and rep your team.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
All right, one of the hottest teams in America, the Tulane Green Wave. We're about to talk to their head coach. A reminder as you head to the games, or if you're looking for that perfect Christmas gift this time of year, the Pants Store, great locations all over Alabama and Leeds, Birmingham, Huntsville, Tuscaloosa, and Auburn, but anywhere in America, pantsstore.com, pantsstore.com, your game day headquarters, free alterations, free gift wrapping. Nothing says Roll Tide, War Eagle, and college football like the Pants Store.
Ring number 20 last night by the College Football Playoff Committee. That's where you find the Tulane Green Wave. They are off this weekend. They do not play again until Thanksgiving, and their coach is with us now, Coach Jon Sumrall. Welcome in, Coach. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, we always love talking with you. One thing I left out is you've clinched a spot in the American Championship game. Congrats on that. I know that's not the goal, but boy, you got to stop, I guess, occasionally even as coaches and smell the roses. That's a heck of an accomplishment in year one.
It is. You know, proud of our guys. We've had such great roster turnover this year through a coaching transition. I was thinking about it last night. I'm like, we lost 13 starters off of last year's team out of 22, so 9 returning starters, a very different team than what had been here the last couple of years. And for this group to really come together and buy-in to maybe a lot of the new things has been fun to watch. And I'm very glad we have kind of what I would call a mini bye. We played last Saturday. We're back into a game week as of Friday because we play a game a week from Thursday. So I'm glad we got a mini bye. So rest some guys up, can let them let everybody pat them on the back for a day about you clinched being in the conference championship, and then bring them back to reality that we got a really good Memphis team coming to town on Thanksgiving night that's 9-2, and it's been to 11 straight bowl games and kind of in the class of our league for a while now. And so we got a big challenge coming up before we even get to the conference championship game. So I'm glad there's a little break in there to kind of let that settle in and then move on and get over it and not worry about it.
You're a straight shooter, so I'm going to ask you this. And I know, as you mentioned, Memphis and then conference championship game, but you're an easy guy to pull for. And I was up watching Boise State and San Jose State, and San Jose State got up 14-0, and I was like, let's get this W for Tulane and for Coach Sumrall. Were you watching the game?
Well, so we landed back from Annapolis, playing at Navy Saturday night. Turned my phone on, and it was 14-0. I got home, and my wife had gone on the trip with us, and my father-in-law was at my house with my mother-in-law, and my father-in-law had that game on. And when we walked in, it was 14-14, I think. And I think it got worse for San Jose from there. It didn't get any better.
Yeah, so, they closed on a 42-7 run. It looked good for a minute.
You know, kind of an interesting deal. Spencer Danielson, the head coach at Boise, I coached him at the University of San Diego. I mean, Spencer's like 34 or 35 years old. He makes me look like a grandpa. And so he good dude, great guy, great coach. Respect the heck out of that program. I would really be okay with them losing at some point. I'm not going to hide away from that. I'll take all the help we can get. But no, we really just have to keep winning and worry about us. But I would be okay if they dropped one somewhere.
I'll tell you, when I see on my phone a team that I'm cheering for winning, and then I turn on the TV and it starts going the other way, I quickly turn the TV off. I don't know if you're superstitious.
I may not be superstitious. I'm just stitious. I will quickly, if it starts to go the wrong way, I'm like, let me go watch another game. Let me go Saturday night. Let me go watch. It was Georgia, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Maybe if I go watch that game, the other game will start going the way it needs to go. But yeah.
Yeah. You said after the win over Navy, the quote was, "It's unbelievable." You don't seem like a guy that puts your goals and aspirations into a box. Just tell me what first year, but what everything around this program seems to have changed since the 90s where Tulane was headed. What's happening there? Why is this program, why are you able to have success?
Yeah, well, the universities decide they want to be good at football. I mean, you don't get good at football at any level, but in particular, I think the group of five mid-major level without a commitment and an alignment from the top down. And you have to make a decision. We want to commit resources. We want to invest in the program. It starts, honestly, this day and age, as you guys know, with investing in your players. I mean, forget coaches. Coaches lose games, players win them. All right. And so I think there's been a legitimate commitment to resources to our players, our staff, and football matters here. We didn't have an on-campus stadium at Tulane until 2014. And we were playing in the Superdome. I was an assistant coach at that time, and it felt like you were playing in a cave, and the fans were like maybe some bats. It wasn't really like a real college football environment. Man, we have our home games now. Next Thursday will be a little different because it's Thanksgiving break, and a lot of our kids will be back home, students. But man, we've had our home games. The student section has been freaking rocking. It's been big time, and so I just think that a buy-in here. People love a winner. The last couple of years were good before we got here. I think when I was talking post game on Saturday about this being unbelievable, and I told our team this Friday night in the hotel, I'm just in awe of after all the change that happened between last year and this year, whether it be staff, roster, whatever. I told our team the numbers the other night. In our league, we take 80 guys on a road trip. Not 70. The SEC, that travel number is 70. We don't really have a cap. I have a personal cap at 80 because we only have so many seats on the plane. And so out of those 80, 46 of them were here on last year's team. 34 were not. Okay. And so it's a very unique deal where we've had to find the buy-in and the connectivity and the care for each other and do it quickly to get. And we've got 5 guys starting right now that showed up in May, that showed up like Memorial Day, basically. And then you talk about there's 7 full-time coaches on my staff right now here that were here last year. And then there's a bunch of the guys that came with me from Troy. And so it's been really, really cool to see so many moving parts buy in and become a team and care about each other and fight for each other. And so I'm just in awe. Like, I watch our practice. I'm in awe of our coaches. I'm in awe of our players. I'm just trying not to screw it up. All right. I'm trying to keep us on the tracks.
It's the way we do the show every day. Coach Jon Sumrall is with us from Tulane, number 20 in the latest college football playoff rankings. He's on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Perhaps this is a better question for our next visit after you've actually done it, but you mentioned you play Thanksgiving Day game. You know, that used to be Texas A&M. Then the Egg Bowl owned it. They've moved off.
Bowl.
I mean, would you like for Tulane to own Thanksgiving night on the college slate, or maybe should I ask you that after you've done it once?
Yeah, I've got no problem with it. You know, I coached at Ole Miss and played in that Egg Bowl one time, or coached in it. I'm good playing whenever. You know, I'll play Thanksgiving, Christmas, whenever. It doesn't matter. You know, I'm okay. I think it's probably good for our league and good for exposure because we're the only college football game on that day, and so I think it's a good, a good snapshot of our program for the country to look at, and for Memphis too in our conference. But I'm good with it. I got no problem with it at all. Especially, I will say this: our conference championship game in this league is on a Friday the following week, so I'm really happy because then I have an extra day on the other side. So that part, I've already looked at that schedule, and that helps a little. But I like it. I mean, look, man, it's football season. I'll play whenever. If you want us to play on any day of the week, we'll play in a parking lot.
So we've got a Calcutta draft, and we draft different teams before the season. And I took Tulane, so I watch a lot of your football games. And congratulations, by the way, on a shutout. And for you being involved in this game a long time, I mean, shutouts just don't happen in college football. You guys have only given up 9 points in the last 3 games. And I think that was Tulane's first shutout since like 1967. You probably know they flashed it a couple of times on the game.
It was a long time. I don't know the exact date, but it's been a really long time for a conference shutout. I know we had a shutout this year against Southeastern, but that, FBS and conference opponent, it has been like, it was some number, like I think it was 1950 against Vanderbilt is what somebody told me, last conference shutout. Okay, is what I think they told me. But I was really pissed off the week before. We won 52-6. That's awesome. But we gave up a touchdown late in the game it was a freaking really bad football play by everybody on our defense. And we gave up a 75-yard touchdown run in a game where we gave up like 200 yards of offense. We're up 52-0. We gave up a 75-yard touchdown run. And I was ready to lose my mind on somebody that game. So I really wanted the shutout for our defensive staff, to be quite honest with you, because they work incredibly hard, and for our players. But Greg Gasparato, our defense coordinator, he was with me at Troy, and we lost the shutout at Temple off of bad football by us. And so to shut out a team like Navy, who presents so many issues offensively, I mean, they do the 3-back option stuff, they do the wing T stuff, they do the shotgun power read perimeter run game. It's like all the stuff they do offensively it's a complete pain in the butt. And so to get a shot in that kind of game is really, really impressive. And it's nice to get one against a quality opponent for sure.
I'll be honest, I just had to search Wikipedia for you to see your age, because you started talking about head coach. You coached at San Diego. We brought up the Egg Bowl, and you were at Ole Miss. You've been to Kentucky, Tulane before. I was like, my God, is this guy in his 50s and just moisturizes well or something? You're only 42, but you've been everywhere. Your energy, are you having the best time of your life right now? Where do you get the energy to keep coaching? Because we talk to Kirby Smart every now and then, and we all talk on the show that it seems like he's starting to wind down a little bit.
He's worn out.
Yeah, he seems worn out. You seem to be just getting going.
Well, I ran at 5:30 this morning. All right, I ran 3.5 miles. I do that every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and so I'm not winding down. I think I'm just getting started. I'm having a blast. I thought it's funny you asked. This morning on my run, I thought about this. I wish I could, as a parent, I got 4 kids, and there's times where you catch a moment in your kids' lives where man, I wish this would just slow down for a second. I feel like that right now as a coach. I am having a freaking blast with this team. Because we got a redshirt freshman quarterback that had never played a college snap until this year. And when we named him the starter, everybody thought I was on drugs. They were all like, this guy, because we had 2 other veteran guys. Everybody thought we were going to name one of them the starter. And we got a young quarterback. We got a team that's very unique. I'm having a blast. Now, I won't say there's moments where our guys make me want to lose my mind. Like we gave up the touchdown against Temple. I was pissed, but I'm really having fun. I'm having a lot of fun, man, coaching with the guys I coach with. I got a freaking great staff, and I probably shouldn't say much good stuff about them because everybody will try to come steal them. But this is I'm just having a lot of fun, and our kids have been fun to coach, and they like football. They're tough. They're smart. They're hungry. They play with a chip on their shoulder. Got a little bit of an edge. I'm not slowing down. Yeah, I'm wide open. I might go to bed a little earlier than I used to, but I'm still up real early.
Okay, again, a lot of football to play, but if you went out and you don't get into the college football playoff, it will be because you scheduled out of conference against Kansas State, really tight game where you had every opportunity to win, and against Oklahoma on the road. I know you use the phrase rat poison, like our man Nick Saban. This is some rat poison because I said it a couple of days ago. I think I said it last week. If you guys play Kansas State and Oklahoma again, right now, you guys would beat them. With all of that said, at the end of the season, will you look back and maybe think about how you schedule a little differently moving forward?
Yeah, the schedules are done so far in advance. I didn't have any control over this year. And, I think we've established this mantra. We'll play anyone, anywhere, anytime. That's my mindset. I don't care. I would love to play an SEC team every year. I would. Why not? Why not play LSU or Alabama or whoever? Now, I don't want to play. We're not equipped to probably play 6 of them a year. But I think play at least one. I think the model, I've looked at it, all right? And I've studied this, believe it or not. The last 12 years, the average Power 4, Power 5, Power whatever it is now, opponent that a G5 team has played to get into what was the New Year's Six and now is going to essentially be the CFP is 1.1. That rounds to playing 1, not 2 or 3 or whatever. We play 3 next year. So, but, the number it looks like has been 1. Last year, Liberty got in and they played none. Okay. And so I don't know. It's hard. It's an inexact science on, is it go schedule hard people and whatever? I don't know. Who are they put on our schedule? We're going to play them. We're going to give them hell. You know what I mean? And if we win them, I'm going to be really happy. If we don't, I'm not.
Yeah, I love the attitude.
What was the bourbon of choice after the Navy win? And did you drink it with your father-in-law? Does he drink bourbon?
My father-in-law is no longer a drinker. He drinks Sprite and stuff. I drink Blanton's on Saturday night. Yeah, I had Blanton's. Yeah. Hey, if we can win the next 2 games, it'll be CYPB Weller. All right, it'll be top shelf.
Right? Yeah, I don't want to jinx it, so I wasn't going to ask if you thought of one that pairs well with turkey for Thanksgiving night. So we'll just leave it at that. We'll wait to find out later on. As always, Coach, we appreciate the time. You're very kind with your time with us, and we wish you all the best against Memphis, then the conference championship game, then who knows after that.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you having me on.
All right, Coach. Good talking with you as always. That is Coach Jon Sumrall, one of our favorites, the head coach there at Tulane, number 20 in the college football playoff, but a team we think, I guess it's universal, is the best group of 5 team right now.
I think they are the best group of 5 team. Yeah. Look, Ashton Jeanty is obviously a load, and he really took that game over against San Jose State, but I know you guys were watching that game, and you guys were pulling for the Spartans as well. I'd love to see Tulane get in, not only because of that guy, but I really think that they could be super competitive in one of these games.
Yeah, you hate to say it because I'm not even sure, just by the college football rankings, right now it wouldn't happen. But after Army Notre Dame this weekend, Tulane, barring an upset, will be ahead of Army. I'd almost like to see the American and the Mountain West, or the top 2 group of 5,
have a play-in
game and not have their conference championship game.
I think that'd be awesome.
I don't know if they would give up the conference championship, but I think it's a better idea. I bet you TV could convince them to give up the conference championship game.
I mean, they'll make more money off of what ESPN, ABC, or Fox would pay them to do that. And then
what do you do in that off year when you have like an undefeated Memphis and an undefeated Tulane, though?
Yeah, that's going to be tough on one of those 2 teams that you don't get to go.
I mean, it won't happen much at all.
Same conference, but it could happen.
Well, but I mean, I'm just saying, like, if I lost it on a tiebreaker.
Yeah, or just the.
Or do you just do the top 4 Group 5 teams?
It would be just the rankings. I would say the top two in the college football playoff rankings would have that playing game to the playoffs.
So Jon Sumrall played, obviously, at Kentucky, and I know you're not a big Mark Stoops fan. I think that fan base is starting to just reading different things. They want that guy as their next head coach.
I don't want him to go there.
I don't either. I'd say.
I know it's his school.
No, I'd say, what you got?
I know, but I think it is his dream job. But I don't think he's got to worry about it. You know what Stoops' buyout is?
What?
$44 million.
Then we don't even need to
he
have
ain't
this
going
discussion.
nowhere.
Yeah, they're not going to spend that on a football coach.
Well, let me tell you, they got all the money they want at Kentucky. I don't know why they're not spending it on the NIL. Stop buying the ponies and start buying some players. Stop buying the ponies and start buying some thoroughbreds in football. He's a Huntsville, Alabama native.
Yeah,
right?
played at Grissom. Yeah,
played at Grissom. I mean, who knows what the future holds in this state? He's only 42.
I'll tell you what, if it doesn't work out with Hugh Freeze
or Kalen DeBoer down the road, I mean, you never know.
Oh, look, the guy's going to be a star. I mean, he really is. I mean, he talked about all of the attrition and all of the talent that left that team last year when Willie Fritz took off and went to Houston. And for him, I mean, the defense is dialed in, and he's doing it with a redshirt freshman quarterback in Darian Mensah.
Yeah, that's what he just told that story. If you didn't follow it, I mean, it was a ballsy move for him not to go with the veterans, to go with the redshirt freshman.
Everybody thought it was veterans. He went freshman.
And it worked out.
Yep.
It worked out.
It's good coaching.
Yeah. Show being brought to you, Brownie, by our friends at Golfus.
That's right. The Golfus is Birmingham's best golf simulator location and man caves. They've got one location already open in Vestavia there on Highway 31. Another one soon coming to Trussville, just mere days. And then in about a month, a little more than a month, Highway 280 location. The Golfus is a great location for any corporate meetings, anything like that. Maybe a couple shower, birthday party, just the guys' night, girls' night, whatever. They got watch parties for football and basketball as well because they've got the other TVs in there. Each bay has a simulator, a TV, and a mini fridge. So bring your own food, bring your own drink, bring your own golf clubs if you want. Why have that boring office meeting? Go to the Golfus. Here's the website to book a bay today, thegolfus.com, thegolfus.com.
And our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing bring you part of the show. When the unexpected happens with weather on your roof, you can jump in with Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing. The free quote, the free evaluation, they'll do that. And that free no-cost roof inspection, you just call Greg up at 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531. Or look him up on Facebook, Greg from Pell City. Storm damage, roof replacement, insurance roofing claims, and Greg's got that long relationship when it comes with the insurance providers out there. He'll help you get the best available claim, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and that free no-cost roof inspection. Good time to call him after the big heavy rains. Do it right now, 205-542-3531, or Greg from Pell City on Facebook. It is Storm Restoration Roofing. LT has some updating national championship odds, and when it comes to the playoffs, tell me what you're thinking.
So here were the odds, and I think we might have mentioned this last week, but this is coming from betonline.ag, and they've updated their odds for 23 teams to make the 12-team playoff. Right now, Georgia's minus 2,500. They are your number one favorite. It's funny because when we look at the playoff rankings, it looks like the committee is really snubbing Georgia.
Right.
But according to Vegas, Georgia has the best odds of getting in at minus 2,500.
The reason would be, right, is easy win, and no SEC championship game.
96% chance to get in. They are saying Georgia. Number 2 on this list, Penn State. at minus 1,600 with a 94% chance.
I mean, these are just remaining. There's a reflection of remaining schedules for both them. Yeah.
Yeah, but Minnesota's a losable game according to LT.
It is.
Hence the Gopher.
What is? I mean,
let me go on and say this: there are teams like Ohio State and Oregon that have been removed. Texas has been removed too, which is interesting. I don't know why Texas would be removed from this.
Yeah, got them at 100 then, but they got sneaky, tough Kentucky. Mark Stoops just mentioned him, and Texas A&M. I don't think they should be off the board.
The Georgia Tech point spread is
games in Athens, right?
I believe it's in Athens. Yeah,
21.
So I mean, Georgia plays UMass and Georgia Tech. They're 3 touchdown plus favorite in both those. That's why you have to make them an odds-on favorite. They're not going backwards.
Behind Georgia and Penn State, who do you think that next team is?
Boy, Texas not being included is
stupid.
Mind-boggling.
Yeah.
The team after that, I'm going to say, is Boise State.
Penn State.
Oh,
Alabama.
Okay.
88.9% minus 800 to get in. Boise's not far behind. Notre Dame's minus 500, 83% a chance getting in. Ole Miss minus 400, 80% chance. Indiana also minus 400 with an 80% chance. And then Boise minus 350, almost a 78% chance. They've got Tennessee getting in at 58%, minus 140. Colorado, the same thing.
You got to allow for Tennessee. I mean, it only is really going to take one upset in front of Tennessee to get them in. I mean, it's going to take USC beating Notre Dame. I ran through a bunch of them. I mean, any of those could happen. I mean, Tennessee's just going to, I think, have to be a fan of a bunch of underdogs and just hope one hits. It's not like they got to have a string of them hit.
Would you take a flyer on Tulane? We just talked to Jon Sumrall, and they're plus 600. They've got a 14% chance, but I guess the problem is you got to beat Memphis, then you've got to beat an undefeated Army, and then you got to have Boise lose somewhere. So it's a lot of what ifs.
Yeah, that is a lot of what ifs, and that's good teams they've got left.
By the way, and Pritch Law brought this up earlier, 2 things about the college football playoff rankings last night. The matchup would be fascinating. Alabama on the road in South Bend, Notre Dame in December. You couldn't ask for much more than that.
I agree.
Snow.
But when you watch the rankings, Alabama a 9 seed, Georgia an 11 seed. But wouldn't you want Georgia's path? An 11 seed Georgia at Penn State, and then if you win that one, you play Miami instead of Alabama, Notre Dame in the 9-8. You go to Notre Dame, and then you play Oregon.
I think Notre Dame is better than Penn State, but I would much rather play. Who did you say after? Miami than Oregon. Yeah.
Listen, the way this looks, and I think it'll be this way every year. You would rather be 6, 11, 7, or 10. Excuse me, let me say it again. 6, 11, 5, or 12. So 5, 6, 11, 12. Those are the seeds you want because you're always
5 walks right now.
That's what I would rather be the 5 than maybe any of the top 4.
Yeah.
Because
5 is what you want.
Yeah, I mean, I'm Ohio State. I'm playing a home game against BYU, and then I get Boise in a bowl game somewhere, a neutral site game. I feel like I'm in the semis.
Because if you're 8-9 or 7-10, not only going to have a tough first game, you're going to play usually the Big Ten and/or the SEC champion.
Yeah.
In the second round game. I'd rather play the ACC or Big 12 champion.
Look at
the group.
Look at that bracket right there. Yeah. Would you rather be Ohio State or Oregon in that bracket?
Ohio State.
Me too.
Or Georgia. Like I think Georgia.
I agree.
Like if this is the final bracket, I think I could look at it and say, I believe that Georgia and Ohio State are in the semis.
I think they got the best of the draws. There's no doubt.
Yeah, but keep this in mind, and we can cut this out and save it for later if we want. Ohio State and Oregon play each other for the Big Ten championship. If you're Oregon, why would you want to win that game? Give me that 5 seed, and I'll play BYU, Boise State to get to the Final Four.
That's right. I get one at home and one in the Rose Bowl or somewhere. Yeah. I don't know.
Indiana loses a 1-point game to Ohio State. Do they get the 5?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
they're at 5 right now. I mean, I guess they've got. I don't know if they lose a 1-point game, maybe they don't drop.
No, but they could be the 6 where Penn State is.
Are you guys pulling for Indiana this weekend?
Part of me.
Yeah.
I think it's a great story.
Yeah, it's a great story, and I generally, in college football, if I don't have a dog in the fight, I pull for chaos. And
that's
what is the most chaos? Indiana winning's the most chaos.
Zach says 1, 2, 3 for the bye, 5 for the path. Just hard to be 3 if you're the SEC champion. I think you'll always be 1 and 2.
I would agree.
So it's probably 1, 2, 5.
Yeah.
Take out the 3 there because I don't see how the SEC champion can be that.
One of the first people I saw today, I stop at the same convenience store every day, so I see a lot of the same people, and it's a guy that watches the show every day, and that was the first thing he said was, seeing Boise State get that bye threw me off last night. And he's like, my gosh, how good does the 5 seed get it?
Oh,
it's like
so
if
good.
Boise State is the 4, the 5 seed gets to play a 12 that just snuck in at home, and then the 4.
And the 5 seed traditionally will be second best Big Ten or SEC
That's right.
team
It's going to be a really good football team.
Yeah, so sometimes better to be number 2 because number 1 will always get that 8-9, which are going to be really good Big Ten SEC teams. Craziness the way we've laid this thing out. All right, Rodney Scott. We'll be at the trustful location of Rodney Scott Barbecue today, right?
Yeah, we'd love to see you guys. Come out and join us. We're going to be doing a live show 4 to 5:30.
You're gonna meet the guy that drives from Kentucky to every Alabama basketball game.
He's going to come to Rodney Scott's Trustful?
He goes, we're trying to eat pregame. And I said, we're doing a show 4 to 5:30 in Trustful.
How about this? Let's just make it a party. Anybody that comes by, we can't buy everybody's dinner.
Not everybody, but that guy. He drove from Kentucky.
But yeah, if you're going to that game tonight, come by and hang out with us.
A little pregame party.
And look, 2 birds, 1 stone. You can have a little dinner. You can have some drinks. You can also plan your Thanksgiving meal. Right now, Rodney Scott's Barbecue Thanksgiving meal pre-orders. They've got the southern sides, they've got the desserts, and they have the spatchcock turkey. Pit cooked, smoked over hot coals for hours, seasoned with their famous rib rub and Rod's original sauce. You can order right there. You've got a link. Check it out if you are just listening to us, RodneyScottsBBQ.com. That's RodneyScottsBBQ.com. Support local this holiday season. Rodney Scott's Barbecue, locally owned and operated, and we will be at the Trustful location 4 to 5:30. Come join us today.
That link's also at nextroundlive.com. If you miss what Lance said, just go to our website. You can link right off the front page.
Morgan is the guy drives down from Kentucky for all the games. So, Morgan, when you get there, you tell us the word spatchcock, and we will buy you.
Our friend Ashley said, best barbecue in America.
It's Rodney Scott's. It's fantastic. He's a James Beard Award winner. They don't just give that to anybody.
Especially barbecue people.
That's right. I think
that's the Oscar for the barbecue.
Oh, it is. It's Oscar for
Pitmaster.
food. It's Oscar for food, and for a barbecue, got to win it.
It's the Grammy for spatchcocking. When we come back, 1 more hour, including 4 downs. Hang around. This is the next round. Hit it, Tyler.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trustful. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations. Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954, That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, we believe the best holiday fun happens out there, on the driveway with a new basketball hoop, out back around the fire pit, or up in the deer stand. No matter your fun, we've got it. The right stuff at the right price. Academy, have fun out there.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
We talk about all the biggest games every Monday at 10:30 with Fox Sports analyst Joel Klatt. Presented by MyBookie.ag, promo code NEXTROUND. If it is meaningful at all in college football, we cover it Mondays with Joel Klatt, presented by MyBookie.ag on the Next Round.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Final hour of the show, brought to you always by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. You guys are reacting to Jon Sumrall, what a great guy he is when we interview him. Somebody, as LT says, as we say, easy to cheer for. Over there in the chat room. Thank you for jumping in, mybookie.ag chat room. Thank you to Champy's Chicken, who's always there for you, especially when the temperature gets a little cooler like it's about to do this week. Get to that fall season, winter season, just think about that hot piece of fried chicken. Brined overnight, cooked to order. All the great hot sides for you there. The Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. Listen, there's only so much turkey you can eat around Thanksgiving, a week from tomorrow. Make sure you got some fried chicken on that recipe, on that family trip down to Highway 119 in Alabaster. Sterling's ready to serve you the best food around. Is champyschicken.com. All right, 4 downs in just a second. By the way, Monday Night Football got a little problem coming up.
Well, we got a great game coming up this Monday.
Who is it?
Complete opposite of this past Monday. It is the Ravens in SoFi against the Chargers.
The story I'm getting to, though, eventually it's going to be the Bengals and Cowboys, 4-7, 3-7, and they can't flex that out on Monday Night Football. That's because that is their Simpson tribute, the animated television series Simpsons. So they've already done the cartoon makeups of the players and everything to broadcast on Disney Plus. So because of the Simpsons tie-in, they can't flex that 4-7, 3-7 game out of Monday night and get a better game because of the work already done to have the Simpson
Well,
cast.
that's the only thing that's going to make it entertaining, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be the best
so
part
you
of it.
might as well stick with it.
It may help the Disney Plus numbers right there.
So they would normally flex this thing out. I mean,
a heartbeat.
Have to.
Cincinnati has been terribly disappointing, and Dallas is just playing bad.
But Cincinnati still is a fun team to watch.
They
just
are
because of Burrow and Chase.
They lose fun.
6 of their 7 losses have been one possession losses.
Yeah, they lose fun. They're entertaining.
Do we know what this looks like? This Simpsons thing?
They did Toy Story last year, so it'll be exactly like that, except the Simpsons.
See, I don't remember watching the Toy Story.
I saw some of the Toy Story thing. Yeah. But they've already, basically what it boils down to is
they built all the
they've
animation
done all the work
for it,
already. Yeah.
They can't switch the teams and
That's
rebuild
right.
the animations.
I mean, what a disaster.
So what are they doing for Cooper Rush? Did they even put a Cooper Rush together?
Yeah.
We got to add him.
Somebody's probably scrambling, working 24 hours a day. All right. Basketball tonight down at Legacy, 8 o'clock, Illinois and Alabama. Really big game for the Tide there. It's broadcast on the SEC Network. Tickets still available if you want to get those tickets. And the gates open at 6, so swing by there and watch that at Legacy Arena tonight. We talked about Marquette killing Purdue last night and all the college football Lance has plays coming up at lanceslock.com. We jump back into football in just a second, but first our 4 downs brought to you, LT, by our friends at Slice.
Yeah, 5 great locations. Get in and see the Bajaya Brothers. We will actually have pizza being brought up here on Friday. Looking forward to that, but you can stop in for lunch or dinner at any of those 5 locations: Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park, the newest location in Edgewood. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
CU Buff says, so Mr. Burns is Jerry Jones and Smithers is his son.
That would be good.
Good call right there.
Yeah.
Zach says, my son was underwhelmed with the Toy Story game last year. I feel like I saw some highlights.
Who
of
was
that.
in the Toy Story game?
I don't remember who played. I just remember like the Toy Story characters were playing an actual game. And unless I'm wrong, it matched up the action that was going on in the actual game.
That's the way it works, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how that works.
I don't either. It blew my mind.
Yeah, like
it was the Falcons and the Jaguars.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing that
Toy
Netflix
Story Fun Day.
Netflix couldn't get the fight right, and they can do something like that, right?
That's true, yeah.
It is crazy. What's first down, LT?
Current job longer, Billy Napier or Brent Venables? Both given the vote of confidence. We know both will be back for 2025, but who do you think stays around 2 proud programs longer?
I think Billy Napier does. I like where it's going. All of a sudden, since they gave him the vote of confidence and they won that game the other night, Florida's recruiting continues to still be good. And I'm going to say this. I think the expectations are a little down at Florida from where they normally used to be. And Billy will be able to meet those expectations faster than Brent Venables will because of the success Texas is having in that Texas-Oklahoma rivalry.
So
I think Florida's been beat down so much by Georgia's success in recent years that just Billy gradually growing it will last longer than Brent Venables.
Roughly the same big non-conference games for Florida next year. That's where you got to look at a lot of this because they're both going to play a tough conference schedule, right? But they host South Florida, they're at Miami, and they play host to Florida State. Not terrible. I mean, I don't know what Miami's going to be without Cam Ward next year. He'll be in the NFL.
The only difference is flipping homes and aways in that, and you lose UCF.
You lose UCF, and they played South Florida this year, right?
Right.
Yeah, they replaced them with FAMU, UCF. For Oklahoma, not back-breaking either. Illinois, they host Michigan. They're at Temple, and they play host to Kent State. Not a terrible.
I wonder how much better Michigan will be next year.
I don't know, but that's one of those wins over it's a September 6th game, so it's a win over a logo that, I mean, Oklahoma fans will get excited about that. I think I'm going to get behind Billy Napier. It seems like he's turned the corner down there.
Second down.
We'll throw a couple of difficult ones at you guys.
Oh, I love these.
Better chance of getting to the playoffs, the Cardinals or Arizona State?
The Cardinals. Still a couple of things have to fall Arizona State's way.
Ranch on a chicken wing is what Coach said yesterday.
Speaking of the Cardinals, our man Dan Orlovsky, we pointed this out to him. We pointed this out a couple of weeks ago. The Broncos, a factor in the AFC. He said no. We pointed out the Cardinals, a factor in the NFC. He said no.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Calling out our guest?
I'm just saying that I think the Cardinals are much better than advertised. I think they are the best overall team currently in the NFC West. This could shift quickly.
Somebody's got to win that division. What are they now? 7-4 or 6-4?
You got 6-4, and then everyone else is 5-5. And I think they're all 4 pretty good teams. I mean, they're one of those teams. If you were playing them, even if it's the Ravens or Detroit, you're like, it's kind of a tough game.
Yeah. I don't think Arizona State went there, which is why I went Cardinals, but
I think Arizona State's actually going to represent the Big 12.
I mean, the one thing about the Big 12 that is predictable is its unpredictability. So I would say Arizona State is your better shot here.
Well,
I'm going to say the Cardinals do not make the playoffs.
Do you guys think Arizona State beats BYU?
I do.
And they're going to beat Arizona, or
I
they
would
should.
think Arizona's not great this year. I would think they would beat Arizona, so that should be the 2 wins that they need.
I'm just wondering who they play.
In the conference championship game?
Do they get a rematch with BYU?
It could be Iowa State still.
It would be Colorado at that point, right?
Well,
Colorado
you assume
loses
Colorado
Kansas.
wins all their games, yeah.
I mean,
that's could be Iowa State, could be Colorado.
But if Colorado wins out, it's Colorado or
Yes,
Arizona
that is
State.
correct.
If both those teams win out.
That is correct.
Third down.
I think that's correct.
Little more difficult, better chance of getting into the playoffs. The Broncos or Colorado?
I think I'll go Colorado here.
Yeah, I could tell you a lot more on Monday if Colorado beats Kansas. I'm going to go Colorado, too. I think Colorado holds on and beats Kansas and finishes the deal against Oklahoma State. And then one shot to get in. I think that's better than Denver. Denver's a good story. They're improving, but I don't look at Denver as a playoff team. I'll go Colorado.
Yeah, I think I'll go Colorado.
Yeah, Colorado does win this week, but I like Denver. I think Denver is a playoff team. They realistically should be 7-2 over the last 9 games. They're 6-3 during that stretch. One of those losses was the blocked field goal against Kansas City. Bo Nix playing with a lot of confidence. That's good defense too.
Taking a team to the playoffs as a rookie would be just. I mean, that's against so many odds.
Yeah, we had the discussion last night. We had a meeting and we were talking about, how long have you guys been doing your current platform? Does it seem like a long time? Well, to put in perspective, our first NIL deal was Bo Nix when he was with the Auburn Tigers, and then he played 2 years at Oregon, and now he is playing really well for the Denver Broncos. So it's been longer than it seems.
Fourth down.
Richard Dawson.
The
Family
game show host?
Feud. Yeah, would have been 92 today. Better career.
Do you know who Richard Dawson is?
I do.
Okay.
Tyler's got he's got a vast array of knowledge, and Tyler is not limited by his age. You know a lot of old things.
Yeah, I used to just watch a lot of reruns of everything, so I think I'm actually behind everyone else for what's popular as far as like TV shows.
Interesting.
Yeah. And grandparents were very important in your life, right? So you saw some Richard Dawson reruns probably. I bet Taylor and EG have no clue who Richard Dawson is.
Yeah, and they would be creeped out if they saw his signature move there.
Yep. He would have gone straight for the cheek with those.
That's right.
Those two. Richard Dawson or Andre Dawson? Better career.
Richard Dawson. I like the Hawk. Good player. Richard Dawson, though, he's debatable Mount Rushmore of game show host.
He is Mount Rushmore of game show host. And he was an actor, too, before he was ever a game show host.
He was in Hogan's Heroes.
Yep.
Only thing I remember him in.
The Running Man, but he played a game show host. See, the Hawk, though, to win an MVP for a last place team is almost impossible to do.
With the Cubs?
Yeah.
Plus,
and it was great with the Expos.
I'll start with the Expos.
One of the best arms ever.
I'm going to go Andre Dawson.
You go with the Hawk?
Yeah.
I think I'll go Richard Dawson here.
Because Bitrow on Hogan's Heroes, superstar on Family Feud, but it was only Family Feud. He didn't do any other game shows.
You didn't ask Tyler, do you know who Andre Dawson is?
Not by name, but I know what Hogan's Heroes is.
Yeah. Okay. It is interesting that he knows who Richard Dawson is,
not Andre
Dawson. I think I would lean Andre Dawson.
I think when you go Mount Rushmore of game show host, I'm not sure Richard Dawson makes it, but he is close enough in the discussion. I'll take him.
Well, you know it's Trebek, you know it's Sajak,
Bob Barker.
And then it's that fourth one.
That's
but I would lean Richard Dawson.
Yeah. Howie Mandel, deal or no deal?
The guy from Wheel of Fortune.
We said him. That's Sajak. Yeah.
Charles says higher body count. Well, I'll tell you, Richard and Andre both had their kickstand down.
Yeah, I'm going to say Richard. It was all brought to him. Andre, the Hawk, had to go out and, much like a Hawk has to do, you got to hunt it down.
I think Richard was baiting the field during his actual job. While he was on camera, at least Hawk had to play some games, Hey,
the meltdown's right.
9 innings.
I mean, the Me Too movement, if Richard Dawson would have been 60 during that.
He would not have survived. Yep.
They would have burned him at the stake.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
Would have been over.
Richard Dawson, that's one strike.
That's all I got.
That's 4 downs, brought to you by our friends at Slice.
Yeah, stop in, get you a slice and a salad day, pick up a couple of pies on your way home, be the hero. Mom has been watching the kids or working all day. You can pick up some of those delicious specialty pizzas, from the hot mama to the soul pie, all the way to the Bajaya special. You're going to love it. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
And go see America in an RV from Johnston RV Center, I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur is where you find our friends at Johnston RV Center. Listen, they've got great deals right now, so you can go see the leaves change before they all fall off the tree. $145 a month for travel trailers. They start as low as $145 a month. How about big savings on fifth wheels, $45,000 and more? And you're covered for life with a warranty from RV Warranty Forever on anything that is new or qualifying pre-owned at Johnston RV Center. See everything at johnstonrvcenter.com.
And our friends at Daniel Moore Art, danielmoreart.com. The Legend, a tribute to Coach Nick Saban's 6 national championships way back in the 20-teens, 2009, 2011, 2012, 2015, 2017, and 2020. Those national championships, you can get that all in the work of art from Daniel A. Moore. It's The Legend. And then you can get the 2025 calendar, which is available right now. It's a perfect gift under the Christmas tree. Use the coupon code TNR to get a whopping 20% off that calendar. A great gift for the Alabama fan in your life. DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com. Brownie, describe to us what happened to Mike Elko's soundbite and our conversation with Peyton Thorne yesterday on social media.
It's what we like to call going viral. Scott and Little T put out Mike Elko saying he was asked about, hey, so much focus on the December 30th game. Nobody said Texas, but he knows what game they're talking about, but the word Texas was not planted in his mind. And Elko goes on to say all the coach speak of your focus on one game at a time and all that, and then said, we're entirely focused on Texas. I mean Auburn. Well, that clip went viral, and you guys asked Peyton Thorne about it, and Peyton Thorne,
Lance did, we did,
yeah, and you followed up and said no, that's what he said. Peyton Thorne had not seen it, but shortly after the Peyton Thorne interview was over, Auburn players started sharing our tweet of that soundbite. So it quickly got in the Auburn locker room after we gave Peyton the heads up, and it appeared that some Auburn players who were sharing it on their social media accounts were perhaps using it for a little motivation.
So you're welcome, Auburn, for the upset.
Right. Yeah,
when it's a zoo at Jordan-Hare Stadium and Auburn wins the game, you're welcome.
Yes.
Here's Mike Elko now circling back around to talk about the challenge of facing a desperate Auburn team.
They're a desperate team. They're trying to get bowl eligible. Just the challenges of taking on a team that sees no wiggle room with what's ahead.
Who, Texas?
Yeah, I think that's certainly a part of it on their end, and I think the other part of it is just, and this is what we talk about, and this is probably lesson learned from the South Carolina game, is we're at a different spot too, and we have to understand that people are going to play really well against us right now. We're first place in the SEC. We're top 15 in the country. We're in the playoff hunt. Like, that creates something when you go into another team's stadium that we haven't dealt with in a while. And so kind of understanding what all that means and what all that entails, I think is as important as paying attention to them and what they're playing for. That's been us over the last few years, right? There's been times where we've popped up on teams and played really well against ranked teams here in Kyle Field. It's just what people do when big, high-ranked teams that are high in the standings show up for night games. And so we just got to understand what all that's about, I think.
First of all, top 15 is a stretch. You are 15, so you're in there, but
that's top.
Yeah, that's like your middle of the pack.
Nobody thinks of them as leading the SEC. Yeah, one person thinks of them as leading the SEC.
When he said that, I was like, that is uncomfortable that he is 15th in the country and leading the SEC.
Yeah, but nobody thinks of him. Is that right?
And it's interesting that we have so many great stories from Jeff Monken to Kirk Cignetti and Deion Sanders. But he's one of those guys in year one. If he was to go 10-2 and get to a college football playoff, I mean, that's an incredible job in A&M.
Absolutely.
And doing it with multiple quarterbacks.
Yeah, he's got everything in front of him. If they just win their games, they're in the college football playoff. I think if they just win their games, they're in Atlanta. Well, 100% they are, because they would only have the one conference loss. So, I mean, he could take Texas A&M football to places they've never been if he can just get two wins.
In year one.
But they are going to be two hard-fought wins.
They'll earn it.
Yeah, they'll earn every bit of it.
We're apparently kissing Mike Elko's butt right now because Landmine Believer says we have no shame. Y'all took an honest mistake and made a mountain out of a molehill yesterday. We did. It's fair.
I'd make a mountain out of it.
I mean, look, if we didn't do it, somebody else was going to do it. Credit to Forster and Taylor. Great job with that.
I wish he would stand up in his next press conference and say, we want to go beat Auburn. We want the AUs down, man. No AUs. All the AUs down.
AUs down. Is that a penalty?
Yes, is this a penalty if we do the AUs down?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they may do that. They may score a touchdown, look at the Auburn student section and go. All right, when we come back, LT has trash and some more college football before we get out of here on Alabama's big trip to Oklahoma and Auburn playing host to Texas A&M. So we'll get to that coming up. The show being brought to you by our friends at Hydra Live.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy, now weight loss therapy, all under one roof. You can go to HydraLifeTherapy.com. You can book your appointment there. Walk-ins are welcome. Very important. Mention the next round. 20% off all of those great services. When you're booking, if you can't actually make it to one of those locations, Homewood, Highway 119 in Greystone, Tuscaloosa, they can actually send a nurse to your home or business. Very simple. HydraLifeTherapy.com. Mention the next round. 20% off all of those great services.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
Buying that perfect home is one of the most important financial decisions you'll ever make, so it's crucial that you have the right partner to help you through the process. Hi, I'm Lisa Zeig, Vice President Mortgage Loan Officer for Bryant Bank, and I'm here to tell you that we are that partner, making it easy to buy with confidence. We offer a variety of mortgage products to fit your unique home buying situation. That kind of hassle-free approach might not be what you'd expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give me a call today or visit one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama and let me show you what banking beyond expectation is all about.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late-night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Hey, you. It's the holidays. Give cheer a lift. And at New Balance Birmingham, we got the gift. That holiday vibe? Find it inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trussville. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
Hey, this is Matt Roth, the franchisee of Walk On Sports Bistro in Birmingham. With the kickoff of football season, come visit us at one of our 3 locations, Stadium Trace, Greystone, or Trussville. Come enjoy our scratch kitchen menu while watching one of our 80 TVs. Whether you're looking for a pre- or post-game celebration, game day, or date night, we've got you covered. It's all about the win at Walk On Sports Bistro. Walk On, where everybody needs a little playing time.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, we believe the best holiday fun happens out there. On the driveway with a new basketball hoop, out back around the fire pit, or up in the deer stand. No matter your fun, we've got it. The right stuff at the right price. Academy, have fun out there.
If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Back with you here. By the way, I don't know about you guys, identical twins in sports. Don't you think we should see more of them?
Who have we seen? The Cavender twins?
I mean, they should be really good, right? If you got somebody who's elite that's an identical twin, shouldn't the other person be also good?
Same DNA.
Yeah, I would think that Oh my gosh, who were the brothers from Stanford that dude still plays? The Lopez brothers, Robin and Brooks.
Oh yeah, I forgot about them.
They were really good.
They were identical.
Yeah, they're identical.
Danish identical.
Tiki and
Rondé.
Yeah.
Tiki and Rondé Barber. That's a good one. They were elite. Both in the Hall of Fame.
I don't think Tiki's
not going to get there.
Yeah, Rondé should be. Rondé was a heck of a DB.
Tiki would have been if he didn't retire early, or could have been.
Danish identical twins Rasmus and Nikai Hogard. They're 23 years old, and they both will make their professional golf debuts this year. That gives you 5 sets of identical twins playing professional golf in the 3 major tours. The U.S., European, and the one that's in Japan.
I don't know that I can name any of them.
Me either. I also did not know this. Curtis Strange had an identical twin.
I did
Alan
know that.
Strange, that both played on the PGA Tour.
Yep.
I never knew that.
I did. I saw an interview with them once, and it is, I mean, I know they're identical twins, right? They're supposed to look just alike, but you see Curtis Strange all those years, and you don't see his brother, and then you see his brother, you're like, holy crap.
Yeah.
I mean.
But Alan apparently was on the PGA Tour. I never even knew. You've got a brother? He's an identical twin. He plays golf. Curtis and Alan Strange there. So apparently it happens more in golf than it does anywhere else. Show being brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Brandy will give us a MyBookie line update on some of the big games this weekend in college football. To enjoy those big games, tailgate-wise, if you're heading to Jordan-Hare for one more game, swing by Champy's Chicken and get our to-go order. It is perfect for the tailgate with those hand-cut chicken fingers and the brined overnight cooked to order fried chicken, the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. It is so good. Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. What's that Auburn number look like, Brownie? Because there are people, we have said all week that maybe there's an upset brewing.
It seems like, Lance, you normally go the other way when this happens. It seems like this has become a very popular upset, a trendy pick, if you will. Seems like the public is liking Auburn catching 2.5 points in Jordan-Hare Stadium.
You know, it's interesting. Is this their first night game of the year there?
No, they played. Cal was afternoon game, wasn't it? Yeah.
First Auburn night game at Jordan-Hare this year?
I think it is.
I don't remember what time the New Mexico game was.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think anybody does.
First meaningful night game.
Yeah, the Alabama A&M was a night game.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as
I think there's two things. I don't think
first big game.
First big game.
I don't think people believe in A&M, and I think it being an Auburn home game at night. I know it was Louisiana Monroe, but Auburn has cut really back on the turnovers. I mean, how do you guys feel about this game?
It's hard to figure. I kind of like Auburn too, but everybody it feels like likes Auburn. I just don't think.
And that was one team Jimbo had success against, wasn't it?
Yeah, against Auburn.
Well, I mean, to me, it's Auburn's defense, which has looked good at times.
But A&M's defense is good too.
I know. I'm just saying, stopping the quarterback run,
right,
which killed LSU, is what A&M's turned into be really good at now. Auburn's defense is going to have to play really, really good, and that means the offense can't put them on the field for 80 snaps.
That is right. I mean. It's just funny when Elko said that about them leading the SEC. If you went around America and say, all right, let's name the leaders of every conference. SEC, go. You say
Alabama. Texas,
I think they go Texas next. I mean, nobody thinks A&M's leading this conference. It's crazy to think about.
Say Texas or Texas? Okay,
Texas, yes.
Wrong answer.
I mean, it's Texas and A&M. I kind of like Auburn here. 2.5 is the point spread. Alabama, it's down just a click. 13.5. The Crimson Tide, not quite a 2-touchdown favorite. They were yesterday. 13.5. I was looking for, let's see if Indiana, Ohio State's had any movement here. Yeah, it has, in the wrong way for Indiana. Ohio State now a 13-point favorite. That's just slowly crept up from its opening.
Speaking of Ohio State, real quick, in the top 10 of scoring defense in college football, all the FBS, how many Big Ten, how many SEC in the top 10?
I would say
again, what the category?
So scoring defense.
Yeah.
In the FBS, how many are from the Big Ten in the top 10? And how many in the top 10 are from the SEC?
I'm going to say 4 and 4. 8 total.
I'm going to say 2 from the Big Ten, 6 from the SEC.
Big Ten, Ohio State, Penn State, Indiana, Oregon.
That's 4.
SEC, Texas, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama.
Fourth quarter.
That's hard to believe that you've got 8 of the top 10. I mean, that should be one of those things that, people
just funny.
talk about. Hey, when you were talking about dominant conferences.
As maligned as Alabama's defense has been at times this year, they're top 10 scoring defense.
16.9 points per game, and they're getting better.
By the way, 8 of the top 10 teams in the college football rankings, also from the SEC and the Big Ten.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of my point. There is a correlation with, the defense win championships.
Call out those teams again. I'll tell you their strength of their SOS, their strength of schedule ranking.
Ole Miss. Oh, Texas.
Texas is 38th.
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss is 29th.
Tennessee.
Tennessee is 18th.
Alabama.
16th.
And then let's do it for the Big Ten. Ohio State.
28th, surprisingly, 28th.
Yeah.
Penn State.
35th.
Indiana. Way down.
106.
Jeez.
And then finally Oregon.
43rd.
I mean, Indiana's the outlier there. Everything was like top 40 except for Indiana.
Yeah. What does this one game do to that schedule strength?
Oh, it jacks it up a lot, but it really only matters if you win it. MyBookie.ag is where you find all these games we were just talking about. Code NEXTROUND when you sign on at MyBookie.ag. You make that initial deposit. They double it with code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag. You can play all of those games. You can play the Thursday night college and NFL game tomorrow night at MyBookie.ag using code NEXTROUND when you sign on. Pittsburgh tomorrow night is a 3.5-point road favorite at Cleveland. That's where you can play that one. And the college football slate is back tomorrow night. By the way, with an ACC game. We don't get a lot of Thursday night ACC games. But NC State is at Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech, a 9-point favorite there in Atlanta. MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
Reddit college football. What people need to understand is the SEC has 52 wins over SEC opponents, while all other conferences combined only have 8 wins over SEC opponents.
What is that supposed to tell me?
It tells you that the damage the SEC has done has been SEC on SEC.
Yeah,
hey,
but
they
did pretty well out of conference.
Speaking of one of those out-of-conference games, 3 weeks ago, everybody would have been like, if LSU played USC now, I'm going to ask the question now. If LSU played USC, we'd probably see about the same result, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would not feel good about LSU the way they're playing right now.
2 average teams.
I mean, you can do this all day long, but if you go back to Clemson, if they open with...
Oh, I got it written down right here, Brown. If they had opened...
Just give me a mid-tier team.
No. Great public relation move would have been you announce, we want to give back. We're going to play either... this week they play the Citadel, which is in South Carolina, I believe.
It is.
But let's say they had played at HBCU. You see, I think Notre Dame did that recently. You just give some money back to universities that need them. If you'd opened up with Eddie George's Tennessee State to give some money back.
By the way, 8-3 right now.
Yeah.
Getting mentioned for the Temple job.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
But he's doing a job off the radar. But HBCU struggling money-wise, financially when it comes to athletics.
Yeah, Tennessee State's bankrupt. That's the whole story about them. They're struggling. They're having to lay off professors.
Yeah. So if Dabo and them had announced a $1 million game with an HBCU instead of Georgia.
Yeah.
They'd be right now
absolutely
cruising
right in the middle of
that.
And
I know going into the season there was a lot we didn't know about the 12-team playoff, but one thing that really surprises me is I thought teams would be able to schedule harder games out of conference. But Jon Sumrall, we pointed this out to him. If they only had one of those teams, whether it was Kansas State or Oklahoma, I really believe they would be. I think they would ultimately get in front of Boise State based on what they got left if they went out.
They're 20th with losing both those. So you take one of those losses away. You think they're higher than 20th, right?
Well, it's a marquee win.
Well, if you win it, absolutely. But even if you just don't play it.
Yeah. I'm scared to schedule these games now. I thought we would see more of these.
I thought it would help you.
I did too.
Yeah. But it's hurting Clemson. It's
hurting Tulane.
Hurting LSU. They'd be in a different place if
A&M, if they wouldn't have scheduled, how would A&M basically be in even with one more loss if they didn't schedule Notre Dame?
That's their only loss still, right? No, they got the South Carolina
loss.
Yeah.
So they'd be one loss and probably sitting at number 5, 6, or 7 right now.
So they could maybe afford a loss to Texas. If Texas won out, they went out, you got 2-1 loss. I don't think you punish the loser there.
If this year Sumrall had next year's schedule, if he had it this year, they would have played Northwestern to open. I think they probably beat Northwestern.
Oh, yeah.
And that's in New Orleans, by the way. They're at South Alabama. They would beat South Alabama. They host Duke. I think they would beat Duke. And then they're at Ole Miss. They're probably not going to beat Ole Miss, but go there and play a pretty good game. They would be Boise State right now.
I think we're going to have.
He had that schedule in the wrong year.
Could we have as high as 5 teams at the end of the year that we could go back and say if they would have scheduled this game
just
instead of that
different.
game?
Yep, one game different.
Just a one game different. I'm trying to quickly find the Tulane strength of schedule.
Well, that's probably not great.
Well,
I would say it's better than Boise's.
That's what I'm saying.
Boise's got Oregon on there, so that helps.
Is it better than Boise? Is it better than?
I don't know. Would Boise have an Oregon on there?
Is it better than Indiana?
It wouldn't blow me away if it's better. Indiana's 106. There's only 133. I mean, I'm going to say Tulane's probably close to that.
Yeah. All right. Let's do trash. Brought to you by Mortgage Right. Roulette time. Open. Historic open. Maybe. Let's spin the wheel. Tyler.
Do y'all usually start before 8 o'clock with a chainsaw?
What time is it, sir?
Well, it's after 8 now. You guys started firing it up at 7:55.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
The sheer disrespect with which he fires that off.
So this past Saturday morning, I told you guys I've got a neighbor, really, really great guy. He lives across the street, looks just like Nick Sheridan. I'm talking spitting image of Nick Sheridan, Alabama's offensive coordinator.
Interesting.
I heard all these rumblings. It was in the 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock hour on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
And he had sent me a text. Hey, man, having a lot of work done over here, but should be done before the big games.
Yeah.
That's a very nice neighborhood. I like that, yeah.
By the way, Tulane 96th.
Oh, so better than Indiana.
Yeah.
Well, they do have 2 losses, though.
Yeah, 96 strength of schedule.
Hey, always buying season. Our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. Veteran founded here in Birmingham, offer loans throughout the country. While the area they serve may have grown, their commitment to Birmingham and veterans has not changed. Before you take the next steps on a new home purchase or refinance, talk with the team at Mortgage Right. No cost or obligation to find out what you qualify for. You can get more information. Go to their website, mortgageright.com. Call 205-900-7200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. I think our next story we could have done without this, but Pizza Hut is introducing a tomato wine.
Oh.
Yep. Pizza Hut selling its own branded wine for the first time. The Yum brand's own pizza chain partnered with the Kansas-based Irvine's just beyond Paradise Winery to develop a basil-infused tomato wine available for a limited time only.
Now, I'm not a big wine drinker, guys.
Take that to your favorite holiday party this year.
But that sounds awful.
I mean, just look at the coloring.
I told you guys when
it's like a white Zinfandel.
When I came back from Dunaway, Nebraska, I had never seen this, but all the farmers that went to Miss Elsie's little general store, restaurant, whatever that was, the center of the city, they all had a can of tomato juice, and they would pour it in their beer. And you guys told me that's called a red eye.
Red eye, yeah.
Apparently a big deal there. This sounds a lot like that.
Brian Brown's character in Cocktail like to do that.
They've actually started to market some of those. A couple of beer brands have the tomato juice infused beers already, just in the bottle.
So this pizza wine offers a blend of fresh herbs and spices with rich sun-ripened tomato notes and a subtle hint of toasted oak, according to Pizza Hut.
Yeah, it's a hard sell.
Now, Pizza Hut is marketing this wine in conjunction with its annual holiday season offer, the Triple Treat Box, which I know Brown just hammers that thing. 2 medium pizzas, 5 breadsticks, and your choice of dessert in a festive box starting at $19.99.
That's a good value, though.
Pizza wine can be purchased as part of a limited edition gift set, which also includes 2 Pizza Hut branded wine glasses and a wine bottle opener. If you are going over to girl you're dating for the first time, this is what you need to take. This will definitely seal the deal, right?
Yeah, it is
Let me break out the good stuff and hand her a Pizza Hut branded glass.
Tomato wine, baby.
Nothing puts the kickstand down like Pizza Hut wine.
Love this story. Passengers on a cruise were met with panic when the ship was hit by strong winds, causing it to tilt sharply as the Titanic song played in the background.
Lance, come on.
Rose, follow me.
Incident unfolded on Royal Caribbean's Explorer of the Seas, 15-deck cruise ship with capacity of 4,300 passengers. While on a transatlantic voyage from Barcelona, Spain to Miami, Florida on November 7th, ship encountered a sudden powerful wind gust off the coast of Tenerife.
Sure.
Now, the storm caught passengers and crew members by surprise, which led, as you can imagine, to chaos on board. Winds caused the Explorer to tilt more than 14 degrees to one side, causing furniture to slide, glass to shatter, and passengers to fearfully cling to surfaces for stability. Witnesses reported plates flying, grand pianos skidding across the stage, and passengers screaming as they ran for safety.
You two old people come with us as we try to escape, because I've seen every movie of Poseidon. You two will die.
This is the best part. During the alarm, Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On played in the background.
There's no way you play this on a cruise ship. I don't care if it's sitting at port. You don't play Titanic songs on a cruise ship.
Leading some to believe the unsettling scene was orchestrated by the cruise ship company. That's a way to not get people back.
Yeah, that's great for business.
One passenger told local publication, quote, "We were in the theater. They were playing Celine Dion's song from Titanic. We actually thought it was part of the special effects." Now, ultimately, the captain was able to divert to allow an injured passenger to receive medical attention. Then the ship docked safely in Miami on November 17th.
This week on Dr. Odyssey.
It's something every week on that ship.
If it lasts long enough, they'll rip from the headlines like Law and Order used to, right?
Oh, yeah. Hey, based on a true story, this Sunday's Dr. Odyssey.
Okay, what is worse than one hamster?
2 hamsters?
132 hamsters.
That is worse, yes.
You'll get there if you got one male, one female to start with.
Portuguese airline was forced to ground one of its passenger planes last week after discovering that 132 hamsters had escaped from cages in the cargo hold and roamed free throughout the aircraft, according to the aviation news website in the country.
Is this an actual photo, Tyler? Or is this?
It is not.
Oh, that's not it?
Artistic rendering
of
what the hamsters on the plane.
Did you guys ever have hamsters?
I never had a hamster. My parents would not even consider
Your parents
that.
are smart. We did have hamsters. They get out, and then they get in the walls.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
We had squirrels in our attic in our walls.
They came with the neighborhood, right?
They came with being.
That's what you called lunch, right?
Came with being poor.
Came with being poor.
Yeah, I swear, Captain, I slipped and fell in the aisle getting him to go to the bathroom. That's what happened.
Now, reports by multiple Portuguese news outlets cited anonymous sources as saying baggage handlers had first noticed damaged cages after the plane landed, and then they saw the hamsters running amok in the cargo hold.
That's a tiny hamster.
This actually is a real picture.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah. Is he frozen to death at this point?
Damn, he looks rough.
Yeah.
Got a hold of one of the minis on the flight.
You ride the cargo hold. See how you feel.
Now, the animals were part of a delivery intended for a pet shop, which also included ferrets and birds. There were no reports of other animals getting free in the plane, which has a capacity to carry over 200 passengers.
Sorry, Captain. I was told we're supposed to run up the tail wing. I don't know what that is.
I was never an exotic pet guy. The most exotic I got was we had goldfish, and my brother wanted an angelfish. We did not realize that those two could not live in a tank together, and we woke up the next morning with no goldfish and a big angelfish.
I'm gonna shock you guys. Youngest brother just opened a high-end fish shop.
Yeah,
have I told you that?
No, but it is the least surprising thing.
Young Cameron?
Yes. I mean, that is
where?
Right down the middle of the field.
What fish do you buy at the high-end fish
yes,
shop?
A high-end fish.
I've had a beta fish, and I feel like that's...
Now,
what did you pay for the beta fish?
Like $4.
Yeah, that's fair.
Now, he did talk about doing us a full-out saltwater tank in our lobby.
Yeah.
And, outfitting it with the best of the best fish.
God, you got to clean those things all the time.
No, we wouldn't have to clean it. He would clean it.
Yeah. Are we paying him for that, or is he?
No. It'd just be, conversation piece.
For a mention on the air?
Yeah, conversation piece. I don't even know what the name of his joint is
This
yet.
is fantastic.
Yeah,
it's right down the middle.
I'll give you more details after it even gets better. Yeah. Anyway, I would like to have a tank with sharks if you could somehow, if it wasn't like high maintenance.
Laser beams on their heads.
That's a big tank.
So we got a 93-year-old resident of the Los Angeles El Sereno neighborhood recently found out that the peculiar noises she'd been hearing for weeks weren't caused by animals, but by a man who had taken up residence beneath her home. Now, initially, the woman and her family dismissed the nighttime sounds as typical disturbances for stray dogs or wildlife. However, last Thursday, the noises grew louder and appeared to respond to their movements, prompting them to contact authorities.
Catch the ball! Just catch the ball!
To their astonishment, police uncovered a naked man who seemed to have been living in the crawl space for an extended period of time. Now, according to the son-in-law of the elderly homeowner, quote, "It was usually late at night. We just chucked it off as animals being under the house. Noises were kind of like knocking. It was like as my wife was walking, they were kind of knocking back from under the house. So we knew something was wrong, but we thought it was an animal. Now, getting the unwanted guest out from under the house was quite the task, as he didn't want to come out. Police spent hours trying to talk him into crawling out. Then they tried to intimidate him with the police dogs, but guess what? He didn't care about the police dogs. That's when they were forced to get him out with tear gas.
Brown, why was he under there with his pants off?
My balls was hot.
Naked man.
I understand.
Identified as 27-year-old Isaac Betancourt. He is suspected of having lived under the house for nearly 6 months. 6 months naked under a house. Family is now planning to block the access to the 2-foot-high crawl space under the entire house to prevent similar problems in the future.
What must he have smelled like?
Can we go full screen, Forrester? Looks like you got him a little cable running there.
He's got some TV. Yeah.
He's got all the basic channels.
That's right. That's right.
I tell you, the son-in-law has not done a good job of checking out this perimeter.
No. I mean, I would think I would notice that hole. I don't know about you.
You would think.
I would think if I walk around my house, occasionally I would notice
I would be scared where we are that you would get like rattlesnakes in there.
No doubt.
Rats.
Yeah, not humans.
Raccoons.
Yeah.
I would definitely. I'm not a tracker. I am of Cherokee Indian descent, though. I would be able to look and be confused by the 2 footprints, and like it seems to be a man dragging a stick.
We have a problem.
That's it. Hey, if you're looking for a new home, our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. So remember, whether you're looking for that final home, your first home, whether you have a big down payment or need 100% financing, Mortgage Right, one-stop shop for mortgages, 205-900-7200 or mortgageright.com.
Final thoughts brought to you by our friends at Academy Sports. Brownie, tell us about the new location of Academy. We'll be there. Is it Wednesday? Next Wednesday? 1 week from today?
Yeah, 1 week from today. We're doing our show live, 9 to noon. We'll be there at Academy Sports and Outdoors. Your new sports and outdoor store is open in Birmingham. Wide selection of trusted brands like Nike, Stanley, Brooks, Carhartt, Blackstone, Yeti, Titleist, Shimano, and more. Shop online on the app, free in-store pickup, free shipping to your home. A purchase is $25 or more. 4610 U.S. Highway 280 in Birmingham, right there in the old Best Buy. And don't forget, Academy Sports and Outdoors is sending you folks to the big game in Tuscaloosa in a couple of weeks. And you can either register in person with us next Wednesday when we're there 9 to noon, or just go online, nextroundlive.com. Lots you can find there at nextroundlive.com, including your chance to win those tickets from Academy Sports and Outdoors. We will announce the winner on Friday.
If Oklahoma is going to upset Alabama, they've got to score some points, Tyler. Brent Venables got asked about the struggles on the Sooners offense.
We know we've been historically inefficient and ineffective on offense, so I won't even talk about that, but we have gotten a little bit better. Some players have gotten better the last several weeks, and we've been a little more efficient and given ourselves a chance. If we just take care of the ball, we'd have a chance to win every game that we play, and along with creating some explosive plays. You can't, with the types of teams that we're playing, you have to be able to do that to put yourself in a position to win.
How many SEC teams do we have now?
We have 16 SEC teams. They had 5 wide receivers, sometimes more, on the injury report almost every week. It'll be interesting to see how healthy they are at that position for this week's game.
Jackson Arnold is 13th in terms of yards per game. Now, he has not played every game. He's only played 8 of their 10 games. The one thing I'll say about Jackson Arnold, though, Lance, he hasn't turned it over a ton. 12 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So he's not just spitting out interceptions. Like Garrett Nussmeier has now thrown 11. Carson Beck has thrown 12. He's been better in those terms.
Yeah, if you watch Oklahoma, their biggest problem is their offensive line. Got to get that fixed. It's pretty crazy because they were known for having really good offensive lines for a long time.
They were really good quarterback play, and both of them have struggled a little bit this year, maybe go hand in hand. And the injuries at wide receiver. Injury reports out tonight. It'll be interesting to see what Oklahoma's look like. I would say this, for a moment in Oxford, Oklahoma, with the return of Jackson Arnold, played a good Ole Miss team step for step for about 3 quarters.
They were right in that game. I mean, that game felt like upset in the making against Oklahoma or against Ole Miss, and then Ole Miss put their foot down, and it was not the same in the second half. But that was Jackson Arnold, maybe the best game he's played at Oklahoma. This guy has just been not what we thought. They've had to make a quarterback change. They've gone back to Arnold. I think that's the right call there, but it feels like if this Oklahoma offense, as Venables just said, is incrementally increasing in their improvement, incrementally improving, the Alabama defense is improving at a far greater rate right now, it feels like.
I've just got this feeling. Like, I think Jackson Arnold's going to be really, really good. I've got a feeling, though, that this might be it at Oklahoma for him.
Could be. There was a moment during Nick Saban's time that you could count on Jackson Arnold having a career game.
Why is that?
Because there was every time Alabama seemed like they played an opponent, it was a career game for Steven Garcia if they were going to pull the upset.
Yeah.
It would take a career game from Jackson Arnold, as Grayson is saying, for them to pull the upset. So you hope that trend of upsets with Nick Saban, somebody having a career game.
Calzada.
Yeah, the kid from Texas A&M.
I mean, some of those throws on that final drive.
And speaking of a different place, as we end the show here, NFL-wise, did you see that apparently Woody Johnson, the owner of the Jets, wanted to bench Aaron Rodgers in Week 4? And it was the week after that he was not benched that Robert Saleh got fired. And yesterday they fired Joe Douglas, who was standing in between the owner of wanting to bench Aaron Rodgers. So now Saleh, who didn't bench Aaron Rodgers, the GM who tried to keep the owner from wanting to bench Aaron Rodgers, they've both been fired. Chances are Aaron Rodgers, if he plays football next year, it's not going to be with Woody Johnson and the New York Jets.
Well, yeah, I did not know that story. I mean, look, he hasn't played well.
Would you want him? I mean, I don't know where else he plays.
What a slap to the ego of Aaron Rodgers. You get benched for the Jets?
The Jets.
Yeah, Week 4 is when that was happening. Diana Rossini reporting that story at The Athletic.
So Week 4, he was already ready to bench at Week 4?
Wanted him benched Week 4, and Joe Douglas and Saleh said, no, we can't do that. We'll lose the locker room. Saleh got fired after that game, and then Joe Douglas got fired after that yesterday.
You could do 4 hours in New York just on the Jets and Giants quarterback situation.
Oh, it's so bad, isn't it?
Hey, live show today, 4 to 5:30, Rodney Scott's barbecue right there in Trussville. Come join us. Great specials, a lot of things going on.
Invite a friend and come on out and enjoy great ribs right there at Rodney Scott, the Trussville location, and then basketball and trivia tonight. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.